PQ. 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 PQ.
Some places are a trap. That's why it's bored in there. There's nothing to do. They won't bring anything there, any resources. They won't bring any activities for the children. And people wonder why. I wonder why they won't bring this to the city. They could do this and do that. They won't do that because it's all set up for when the children get out of high school to go ahead and put them in the prison.
Nancy.
You want help? Fine. Let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, a man got fucked. Now, how is that for a story? Because that's the story of black people in America. Shit, you all don't know you black yet. You think you just people. Let me be the first to tell you that you are all black. The moment these Dutch motherfuckers set foot here and decided they white, and you get to be black, and that's the nice name they call you, let me paint a picture of what's waiting for you on the shore. You arrive in America, land of opportunity, milk and honey, and guess what? You all get to be slaves, split up, sold off, and worked to death. The lucky ones get Sunday off to sleep and fuck and make more slaves and all for what? For cotton, indigo, for a fucking purple shirt. The only good news is the tobacco your grandkids are gonna farm for free is gonna give a shitload of these white motherfuckers cancer. And I ain't even started yet. 100 years later, you're fucked. 100 years after that, fucked. 100 years after you get free, you still getting fucked out of job and shot at by police. You see what I'm saying? This guy gets it. I like him. He's getting angry. Angry is good. Angry gets shit done. You shed tears for Kumbe and Nancy, and here he is telling you, you are staring down the barrel of 300 years of subjugation, racist bullshit, and heart disease.
Nancy.
I hate
Gotcha.
Republicans because they white, and so I'm going to vote for these Democrats, and
Gary?
they ain't done nothing for black people.
So, first thing I want to say, brought up tax revenue from the feds. Louisiana gets more from the federal government than we send to the federal government in resources. My state actually needs the federal resources in order to meet the needs of the American people. You can ask Jeff Landry yourself, if the feds cut that federal water off, if he can meet the needs of the people of Louisiana, he's going to tell you no. When the SNAP stuff was cut up, the reason Jeff Landry was in such a tizzy is because all of the grocery store owners are reliant on the ability of those SNAP customers so that they can pay their grocery bills as a grocery owner. So Donnie Rouse, who owns Rouse's Grocery Store, he was concerned about whether or not the SNAP benefits got paid too, because if the people who get SNAP benefits can't pay their SNAP benefits, don't get their SNAP benefits, they're not in the grocery store spending their money with Donnie Rouse. Okay, so when the legislators in the Republican legislature here were concerned about that Fed money, they weren't concerned about their poor white working class workers. I'm not done. They weren't concerned about their poor working class white voters. They were concerned about their business owners who were going to not be able to meet their margins. Second part, when you talk about the money, that's our money. When black people start talking about an investment from the government, that is our tax dollars that we have paid to the government. And everybody gets to ask for their tax dollars to come back to their community, but black people. When black people, you just said we want the government to do it. No, I want the government to be true to what it said on paper. If you're going to take care of the damn roads and bridges, take care of the roads and the bridges in my community too. If you're going to take care of the parks, take care of the parks in my community. In my community, around the corner from me is Glen Oaks High School. It flooded in 2016. When it was repaired, they spent $16 million to repair it. When Baton Rouge High was built, they spent $64 million. When the school that my daughter goes to was built, they spent $60 million. When they built the Struma High School in the black neighborhood, they spent $20 million. I asked them, do the curtains here cost less than the curtains that you put on the building on the other side of town, or you just shorten the black kids over here?
I want to know why you're giving them $45 million for
So when you talk about some of these things, I'm saying that black people who go to work every day, like my mom and daddy, who live in the same neighborhood I do across the street from me, who've been paying taxes in this community for 30 years, but every time they wake up, there's another resource leaving their community. And it's not at the hands of the black people that they voted for. It's at the hands of the white people who continue to deny the access to the black people because of race. A thing that you continue to deny is a fact.
It's your city. It's just.
This thing is going to wind up as a white man against a colored man, and thank God we still have the majority.
We will not be coerced into hiring any colored person, regardless of his qualifications, as a matter of duress or as a matter of expedience.
When the Negro can prove to the white man that he can live like the white man, then we will accept them.
The only thing that scares me is the neighborhood all getting bad. And if we ever wanted to sell, naturally your house depreciation is the color get in.
If they move in, the next step we have to accept is intermarriage.
We can be sociable with them in work. We can get along with them and joke with them.
Sure.
But when we leave our job and close the door and we're on our way home, we want them to go in their direction and we can go in ours.
Ain't you ashamed? Sick Daddy, won't you please come on?
Skaman says he's against open occupancy laws on constitutional grounds, but he frankly admits no Negroes are wanted in South Lawndale.
Well, why basically, though, do these people not want the Negroes to come in?
Well, it's not a fear of Negroes per se. It's a definite fear of anyone who would run down their neighborhood. Home is probably the most important thing to people of this basic ethnic background. These are primarily Bohemian, Polish people.
Well, let's go and take a look at the adjacent neighborhood.
Where you take them in for? What are you doing?
This is what our community doesn't want to happen. You take our Chatham section here, which is one of the very finest residential areas in the city, almost exclusively Negro. The property is extremely well maintained, beautifully kept up. It's a very, very desirable community to live in.
Why do they want to go into a white neighborhood?
They don't.
I mean, the city of Chicago builds them beautiful housing.
Have you ever been in it, man?
No, I haven't been, but before they occupy it, they are beautiful.
It's going to come eventually. I'd say in 200 years, we're all going to be of one race.
And after all, the white people are a majority, not a minority. This we know.
I mean, I wouldn't say whether I was or I am or against or for.
Like I say, I'm not against any color that's they have a right to education, but as far as our rights, we should have a right to sell whatever we want.
Would you want to live next door to a Negro?
No.
I'm trying to figure out off to say what the hell is wrong with looking at yourself as black first before you anything else.
Okay, there are ills that happen in this country, and black people took the brunt of a lot of it. We weren't the only ones, but we took the brunt of a lot of it. This country has not always been great to black people. I acknowledge that. Can we understand that? But to act as if we're still living in this perpetual state of racism that has something to do with your everyday life, that we ain't never gonna be able to come together if you believe that, man. If you say you black first, that's crazy. That's like a white man saying I'm white first.
They are.
But they do
they wrong then. They wrong then.
America is white first, man.
No, America is not white first.
America considered you property. You were
that's a long time ago, bro.
Sir, let me ask you something. This is where the disconnect comes from for us. When you say they traded black people, if you were traded, would you consider that you were stolen or traded? If it was you, if somebody took you right now and against your will and took you to another country, would you consider that you were traded or would you consider that you were stolen?
If somebody enslaved me
yes.
and sold me to these white people,
yes.
I would consider that I was traded by my own people.
Okay. So where you and I differ is a fundamental
history.
understanding that
There's no fundamental. This is historical fact. We were enslaved in Africa and sold through slave trade around the world. Majority of us went to South America.
We did.
United States of America that we know it today.
If you would not consider yourself stolen, that's something wrong with your internal compass.
Stolen by who?
Whoever stole you. Whoever stole you
black
for another
and
country.
white people. By black and white people, I was stolen.
But I'm trying to figure out off to say what the hell is wrong with looking at yourself as black first before you're anything else, black before you're American, black before you're anything else. What's wrong with that?
Okay, because all black people ain't the same.
White man knows he can't trust you. If your own people can't trust you, the white man knows he can't trust you. So your job is a temporary job. We see you, nigga. We see you.
Oops. Yerp. What's going on? What's going on, family? You know what time it is? You know what time of the week it is? You know what time of the day it is? As promised, I have brought you guys some pertinent information. Oh, before I go that far. Oh yeah, my IT person, Shamir. Guess what, YSKT? It's like a knock-knock joke where you just gotta wait forever. I don't think she's there. Where's Miss Alita? Where is everybody? Oh, there. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, she's out. At the house, Officer Tatum is a joke. Officer Tatum is. Absolutely. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. I can hear
me?
you too. I can hear you too. So we were talking about this right here, right? So let me pull this up for y'all. Oh, snap. There goes our other troublemaker.
I'm not a troublemaker. Hey, y'all.
What's going on? So back to what this lady was talking about, right? Can y'all see that, or am I tripping? Let me do it like this. Nope, that doesn't help.
I gotta zoom in on my phone, so.
Hold on. Let me see if I can zoom in. So I wanted to bring this up because
This how you start the show?
yeah, because listen, that lady, these people in this clip, hold on, I'm not gonna play the whole
Thing
but
is
people
going
from
to
this
walking top as a white man against the color.
people from this clip, they echoed her sentiments. That's why I keep thinking to myself, I'm like, there's no possible way that people can't see racism in today's society unless you're literally just ignoring it. So she's talking about an incident, right? About how some black guy, I'm assuming, where's the lie? Look at what has happened in Alexandria this week. I was almost assaulted in my job. Now, mind you, right? There's no picture evidence.
You went out. You gotta repeat what you said.
Oh, my bad. There's no picture evidence. There's no physical evidence. There's no recording. We just have the tears, right? And her tears are all because she was almost assaulted in her driveway. She says, I have lived in this house for 20 years and never had a problem. The kids are breaking in the car and a grown man threatened to come into my yard and beat my effing ass. And all I did was ask him not to use such foul language and to please move away from the driveway when he was cursing at my dog. Now, people's driveway is usually connected to a sidewalk. And sidewalks are typically public easement, where everybody is allowed to be. So the fact that she thought that she could tell him where he could be and tell him what he could say, it appalled her that she couldn't. It made her feel unsafe that she wasn't able to control what somebody was saying and doing to her. She felt victimized, if you will. And she said, all I did was ask him not to use such foul language and to please move away from my driveway when he was cursing at my dog. A dog who was in my yard and not barking, but coming toward me because she's scared of people. I have never been talked to like that in my life. I love Alexandria and my neighborhood, but my husband and I are about ready to move to Pineville or Woodworth. Move to Woodworth. Don't come over here with that shit. Yeah. They want to be somewhere around less black folk. They want to be somewhere where they can control the people.
I like Woodward, but I mean, it's quiet out there, and they don't play.
Yeah, it's quiet and it's racist.
Louisiana racist though, man. Pick your poison.
I don't want to be poisoned. Can I? I don't want that. I don't want that for my kids. I don't want that for my future.
You just gotta be able to defend yourself, and that's it.
I can't defend. Do you see this lady?
You see this lady?
She's upset because somebody cussed at her on the sidewalk. I can't defend myself against people like this. She's gonna cry.
She's just one in a million. She's just one in a many that has the same attitude. They might not say it out loud, but there's a lot of them that feel this way. What we have to understand is your president has empowered and emboldened these people to bring back just what we just saw about Chicago 1963. Did you hear? And I want you guys, and I said this before, and I want you guys to continue to pay attention to this. Just like the black woman is the stronger woman, the stronger gender when it comes to stuff like this, the white woman on that side is the stronger. If you notice, there was more women in that video, that clip, than it was men. They showed more women because women, white women, are just as racist, and they raise their children to be just as racist. That's where those young men that was on that video, that mindset came from. That's not daddy, that's mommy. Because you spend more time with your mom than you do your dad. Because, back then, mom didn't work. She stayed at home, had the baby, stayed in the kitchen. So she had a more influence over the child, how the child thinks, how the child moved, and everything. So you look at the white woman, and they've already said she's the threat to both black and, the black man and the black woman. It's not the man, it's the white female. She's the most of a threat. Now, if she would have called the police on him, he might have went to jail, and they said that he would be trespassing on her because she would fix it where she would say that he was trespassing. That's why my issue is you can't, let me say this. Let me get this out correctly because I don't want to make it sound like I'm not even going to say that. White women are dangerous to black and white men. Black women and black men. I'm just going to put it to you like that. They're dangerous. I don't care who it is. I don't care if your daughter, your son love them. I do not care. They're dangerous to us. And it's been proven over and over again in history that they're dangerous to us. You got to look at the people. Emmett Till. Let's start with Emmett Till. Let's talk about George Stinney, a 14-year-old who got electrocuted. He got put in the electric chair at 14 years old because they said he killed 2 white girls, which he did not do. White women are dangerous to us, but we keep on finding a way to make excuses and keep interacting with them. They're dangerous to us. That is not me trying to be militant, radical, none of that. I'm just telling, it's been proven. I don't have to keep saying it. It's been proven. They're dangerous. And that clip and any other clip that you show is going to show, mainly it's going to be the white woman that has a lot of problems with us. And it's because a lot of it is because they fear the raggedy ass people and the mediocre men that they deal with. So they are a danger to us. So I'm just putting it out there.
Jeez.
I'm going back on mute.
Jeez.
That's why my son already knows the rules. He will get cut off. Period.
Yeah. Listen. That
She said ain't no Anna Nicole Smith's over there.
Anna Nicole Smith. I thought she married an old white man.
It doesn't matter.
Hey, listen. Nat Turner said you're scaring me. Listen, I want to put y'all on a statistic, and I know this is a one-off, and this has absolutely zero to do with what the topic is. Did you guys know that white men lead in suicides? In suicide, they kill themselves. I almost thought I was on TikTok for a second. They kill themselves at the highest rate. They said the most dangerous place in America for a white man to be is alone with a gun. That level of mediocrity, to the point where, because you couldn't maximize your mediocrity, you couldn't maximize your mediocriity, it results in a suicide. Like, come on, guys. Right? And it's not, and I'm not even saying it to be facetious. I'm saying it because, like, the nerve to be racist and to be suicidal. Insanity. Do you guys hear about these cases? And I have a ton of them in my magic bag, but there's a ton of these cases where people that are judges, that are cops, they get caught up in these child predator things, and before they can go to trial, they take themselves out. You know, it's the filth you're involved in. That's why it's good. It's good to take an assessment of the people that you keep around you. Even the black folks, because some of these black folks could be Officer Tatum. You know what I mean? And you know the Officer Tatum types. Reddix is an Officer Tatum type. You know what I mean? These people are just, I don't know. It's just weird. It's just the weirdest damn thing. So I'm gonna move on from that and remove this. And then I'm gonna go and do, what am I gonna do? Oh, I'm gonna add this. Because tonight, as promised, I'm going to go through the laws and the rules of, and the rights of renters in Louisiana. And this hasn't been updated since Jeff Landry was elected governor, right? Because this is his handbook when he was an attorney general. Right? So we're going to go through this slide by slide. There's not a lot of slides.
That music in the background, turn
it's
down.
my show.
He didn't even let me finish my request.
What?
I just said turn it down somewhere.
Okay. Can somebody read for me?
Who the hell you think you are? I'm not reading nothing. I read enough in your mama class.
Oh, well, next slide. Mind you, guys, if you
I
have
knew
any
you was
questions,
going to say that, Shamir. I knew you was going to say that. I knew it.
if you guys have any,
I had to.
you guys got any, let's say maximize. Okay. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the chat. All right. I can't read this shit. Oh, and this is my new recommendation. Please watch us on full screen. Please watch us on full screen. That's the best way to watch this show is on full screen. Man, boy, they be loving to quote Dr. Martin Luther King. And I had a clip, but it was only 30 seconds long. But I don't want to. It's not that good. All right. It's a message from Attorney General then, Jeff Landry. As your Attorney General, I am.
You can see it.
Huh?
You can see it.
No, I'm just reading it off the actual. I'm reading off the actual website.
Well, what did you want me to read?
Nothing.
I see the.
Oh, I didn't think you was gonna read. I was gonna read it for you. I can't zoom in neither.
Okay, but okay.
Don't worry about it.
A message from Attorney General Jeff Landry.
Okay.
As your Attorney General, I am committed to ensuring that Louisiana Department of Justice serves all of our state's people. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. most eloquently said, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." This is especially true with your rights to live where you choose. Fair housing should never be denied to any person because of race, color, national origin, religion, sex, let's say
Familial.
what the what? Status,
Yeah,
or
family
handicap.
status. Yeah.
My office will enforce the law and ensure justice is served. I hope you find this brochure helpful as it answers some of the most common questions from landlords and tenants. If you would like more information, please do not hesitate to contact my office. Our state is great because all of its people have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, like that movie. And as your Attorney General, I will do all that I can to make Louisiana an even better place to live, work, and raise a family. Sincerely, Jeff Landry.
That is so sweet. You're such a good guy. So inside, the deposit, the lease, obligations, problems with the property, other deposits, vacating the premises, evictions, military termination rights, fair housing, resources, and footnotes. All right. So just know before we hit the end of the show, I will try to touch all these topics. Before you sign the dotted line, you need to read, know, and understand what you're signing. When you sign something, it may legally obligate you. So they go through the steps of what a deposit. When a landlord agrees to reserve rental property, the landlord will probably ask the tenant for a deposit. This transaction obligates the tenant to occupy the property on the agreed date, and it obligates the landlord to have the property fit for occupancy on the agreed date. If the tenant fails to occupy the property on the agreed date, the tenant could lose the deposit and may be liable for damages. If the landlord fails to fulfill his obligation, the landlord would have to refund the deposit and may be liable for damages. Security damages deposit. A security or damage deposit may be required by the landlord to satisfy non-payment of rent or any other default, including physical damages to the property. The landlord may keep the deposit for such defaults. However, normal wear and tear is not deductible. If the deposit is not enough to cover all damages, the tenant may be held responsible for additional damages. Inspection and checklist. Before putting down a deposit on the property, the tenant should inspect the property for any visible defects, damages, or missing items. When the tenant signs an agreement to lease the property, the landlord and the tenant should agree on what problems are to be corrected before the tenant moves in. So there's a checklist, right? The landlord-tenant checklist. Please stop, snap a picture. Oh, wait. So I know this new trick, right? Clip this. Yeah, see, when I say clip this, well, I'm gonna stop saying clip this. Clip this. The landlord-tenant checklist
Yeah,
should
this
look.
thing, excuse me, this
Right.
thing is usually given to people when you move, in and out, of your rental property,
Mm-hmm.
either your rental house or apartment. I've had it every single time. And to be honest with you, do they do anything about it? No. But make sure when you write it down, you take a picture of it too. That way they can't say, oh, you never returned it, anything like that. I don't play them games. And make sure you make copies of your money orders because, a lot of these, rental places only, take money orders. Or you pay online and you got to pay extra fee. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. The main reason is because this is the very beginning of the paper trail. And you're right. Write these things down, go room to room, write these things down, take a picture of it as well. Because pictures have timestamps. Right? So everything needs to be legally, and if you're not a renter, or if you're a landlord, if you're a slumlord and you're watching this, I need you to be aware that
Not a slumlord.
yeah, there's a ton of them in Alexandria. There's a ton
I
of
know
slumlords.
it.
Yeah,
I know it.
so they need to know how like the main way that people are going to start combating your slumlordedness, because there's some things that are going to affect them even after moving, right? It can kitchen disposal, all these things, everything, tenant signature. And look, the landlord has to also sign, right? And that lets you know that the landlord is also acknowledging, you know what I'm saying? Some landlords offer a pre-printed checklist for nothing, for noting any existing faults present before occupancy. If a checklist is not provided, the tenant may write one and make 2 copies, one for the landlord and one for the tenant. The checklist should be signed by both the tenant and landlord to prevent future disputes. Do not sign the lease or leave a deposit unless there is an agreement in writing that the property will be in the agreed condition on the date of occupancy. Get it in writing. It is strongly recommended that all lease agreements be in writing. Know your rights and responsibilities under the lease. A lease is an agreement which legally binds both the landlord and the tenant to terms for a specified period of time. The lease may be oral or written. However, oral agreements may be impossible to prove in court should a dispute arise. Stop letting these people tell you anything, because their job is to get you in that place so they can start collecting. The terms and automatic renewal clauses. The terms and conditions of the lease are usually regulated by the lease agreement. Fixed term lease. The duration of the lease may be agreed upon by both the landlord and the tenant for a fixed period of time. A fixed term lease usually runs for a year, but can be any time period stipulated in the agreement, not to exceed 99 years. A month-to-month lease. If the duration of the lease is not stated in the agreement, it is presumed by law to be a month-to-month. The tenant or the landlord may terminate or change the terms of the lease within 10 days written notice. Well, with 10 days written notice before the end of the month. Renewal clause. Some leases contain automatic renewal clauses which renew the lease for another term equal to the original term. For example, if the tenant has a 1-year lease that expires on December 31st, the lease will automatically renew for a full year with the same terms. Either the tenant or the landlord can avoid automatic renewal by giving written notice to his or her intent to vacate. Most leases require written notice to termination at least 30 days prior to current lease's expiration. Terms and automatic renewal clauses. Continued. Other leases contain automatic month-to-month renewal clauses. Again, all lease terms will remain the same. Any alteration to these terms i.e. changes in the amount of rent, termination of the lease, etc., must be made with the proper notice as provided for in the lease. Without a renewal clause, if the tenant remains in the apartment for 1 week after the lease expires and there is no renewal clause, then the lease will automatically renew on a month-to-month basis. In this situation, any change to the terms of the lease must be made within 10 days written notice of the prior to the end of the monthly period. Co-signing a lease. Tenants can co-sign a lease with a roommate or roommates. In this case, either both the tenants can be held responsible for the entire rent, damages, or other breach of agreement. Therefore, if a roommate moves out or causes damage to the apartment, the remaining roommate can be held responsible for all the damages. Non-payment of rent. Some lease agreements allow for the landlord to charge a fee for the late payments for rent. Late fees cannot be charged unless they are provided in the lease agreement. If no lease exists, fees cannot be charged unless they are agreed upon orally. The law sets no specific amount for late fees. However, unreasonably high fees can be contested. Special rules governing the lease. A tenant should ask the landlord about the written rules governing the conduct of the tenant and his or her guest. Before signing the lease, the tenant should request a copy of the rules and study them carefully. The death of either the landlord or the tenant does not dissolve the lease agreement. The lease is to be continued by both the landlord and the tenant's respective heirs.
Well,
and bound by,
damn.
yeah, listen, even in perpetuity.
That's crazy.
The destruction of the property without fault or either landlord or the tenant does not terminate the lease. Yeah. What am I supposed to do? Obligations. It is important for the landlord and the tenant to know their obligations under the terms of the lease. I hope you guys are listening. Share this out right now. If you know people that are going through this, let me tell you what happens after you're in the lease, right? These are your obligations on both the landlord's part and the tenant's part. The obligation of the landlord, clip this, to deliver the property to the tenant at the agreed time and in the condition for its leased purpose, to maintain the property in a suitable condition for the purpose for which it was leased, to protect the tenant's right of peaceful possession for the duration of the lease, to refrain from making any alterations to the property, to pay taxes, assessment, and other charges to the property. If the landlord sells the property during the term of the lease, then the new owner may change the lease terms or evict the tenant. In order to prevent this, the lease must be recorded in the parish where the property is located. The tenant may have an action against the landlord for loss sustained as a result of the sale. Do you get that, folks? If they sell the property from underneath you while you're renting to them and you don't have your lease filed in the parish at the courthouse, then you won't have any legal recourse. But if you do have your lease filed at the courthouse, at the parish, or at the city, I think it's at the where the landlord sells the property by change the term, recorded in the parish where the property somewhere. I would say with the city. I would say with the city and with the parish at the courthouse, just to have it on document. Because if they sell the property from underneath you and somebody comes in and wants to evict you and you don't have you're up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. Obligations of the tenant to pay the rent in accordance with the lease terms, to return the property in the same condition as it was leased, except for normal wear and tear, to refrain from altering the premises without first obtaining written consent from the landlord, to allow the landlord to make all necessary repairs that cannot be postponed until the end of the lease, to use the property for the purpose for which it was leased. Any misuse by the tenant may cause the lease to be dissolved, to inform the landlord promptly, clip this, to inform the landlord promptly when the property has been damaged or needs repair. The tenant is liable for damages to the property that exceed the normal wear and tear caused by the tenant or the tenant's guest. Problems with the property. Am I responsible? When a fire occurs through the fault of the negligence of the tenant, his or her guest, the tenant will be held responsible for damages or destructions, of course. Many leases that request for repairs be made in written. Right. Let me start back over. Many leases require that requests for repairs be made in writing. Listen. Many leases require that requests for repairs be made in writing. That is key. That is key. With all of the AI data farms and technology, there is something on your phone that will allow you to write and to produce a letter about repairs. I'm giving you a hint about repairs in your home that are no fault of your own. There's an app for that. All right. In the presence, all requests should be made in writing and or in the presence of witnesses. Tenants are strongly advised to keep a record of all maintenance problems, repairs, and failures to repair. The landlord must maintain the property by making all necessary repairs. The tenant is responsible for the damages caused by his fault, the fault of his guest, and those exceeding normal wear and tear. If the repair cannot be postponed until the end of the lease, then the tenant must allow the landlord to make these repairs, even if they are inconvenient. However, a reduction in rent may be possible. Okay? If the landlord refuses to maintain the property or to make necessary repairs after being notified, the tenant has several options. Clip this. The tenant can file a dispute with the Attorney General, Jeff Landry's Consumer Protection Section at 800-351-4889, or I'm pretty sure that's a dead link. We can check and see. But the Attorney General's office is where you file your complaint. If the structural or hazardous defect, if there is a structural or hazardous defect, like the roof caving in, the tenant can complain to the local building officials. That is the city of Alexandria. Those are the people that give out the permits. Those are the people that do the inspections. If they did an inspection and through no fault of your own, it fails, that is on the landlord or the property owner or the manager. If there is a structural hazardous defect, the tenant can complain to the local building officials. If a serious problem is ignored, then the tenant may terminate the lease. Terminating the lease requires substantial proof of the landlord's failure to perform his or her obligations. Terminating a lease without sufficient cause will result in serious financial and legal consequences. Therefore, the tenant should seek legal advice before terminating a lease due to improper maintenance. Louisiana law allows tenants to pay for necessary repairs and to deduct. Louisiana law allows for tenants to pay for necessary repairs and to deduct the repair cost from the rent due and or demand immediate reimbursement from the landlord. In order to deduct repair costs, tenants must be able to prove each of the following. The repairs were necessary. The landlord failed to act within a reasonable time after being notified, and the price paid was reasonable. The tenant should keep copies of estimates, letters, receipts, and other documents which support his or her case. Improvements. At the termination of the lease, absent a contrary agreement, improvements, attachments, or additions made by the tenant to the property are dealt with as follows. The tenant may remove his or her improvements if she restores the property to its former condition. If the tenant fails to remove the improvements, then a landlord may pay the tenant for the cost of the improvements or for the enhanced value of the leased thing, whichever is less. The landlord may demand that the tenant remove the improvements within a reasonable time and restore the property to its original condition. If the tenant fails to remove the improvements, the landlord may remove the improvements and restore the property to its former condition at the expense of the tenant, acquire the improvements without any obligation to reimburse the tenant. So if you make improvements on a rental, just know that you got to either take it with you or face the fact that they're going to keep it. The check is in the mail. Tenants should request deposit refunds by certified mail. Return the receipt requested on the last day of tenancy. The tenant should give a forwarding address in this letter and keep a copy of the letter for his or her records. Feel me? The Leasees Deposit Act. The Leasees Deposit Act requires that the landlord to return deposits within 1 month after the end of the lease, provided the tenant fulfilled the lease obligations and left a forwarding address. If any part of the deposit is retained, the landlord must send the tenant an itemized list of deductions and any remaining balance within 1 month. If the landlord fails to return the deposit or to send the itemized list within 1 month, the tenant may sue in small claims court to recover the deposit. If the landlord fails to account for the deposit within 30 days of the tenant's written request for a refund, then the law allows that the tenant recover actual damages. The amount of the damages made, or $200, whichever is greater. The judge may also award the court costs and attorney fees to the person who wins the suit. The law does not permit the tenant to give up or waive this right in a lease. Pet deposits. Pets may or may not be permitted under the terms of the lease. However, most leases that allow pets require a tenant to pay a deposit for damages caused by the pet. Money held as a pet deposit is recoverable under the Leasees Deposit Act. Money held as a pet fee or charge is not covered by the Act and may or may not be recoverable according to the terms of the lease. Tenants should apply for refunds of pet deposits in writing on the final day of occupancy, the same way they will request a security or damages deposit. Vacating the premises. On your way out, upon moving out, the tenant should return the keys to the landlord, leave a forwarding address, and mail a certified letter requesting a refund of the security deposit. Moving out, the tenant must give proper written notice of his or her intent to vacate the property in accordance with the provisions of the lease. If there is a month-to-month lease, then the tenant must give written notice of intent to vacate at least 10 days prior to the last day of the month for which the rent was paid. Final cleaning and repair. If there is no clause in the lease which requires specific cleaning, then the tenant must return the property in the same condition and in which it was rented, allowing for normal wear and tear. If the tenant fails to do so, all or part of the deposit may be withheld. If the property is not cleaned, the landlord may deduct all of the part of deposit or the cleaning charges from the deposit. Clauses in the lease that automatically deduct for cleaning regardless of the property's condition may be invalid. So if they try to write it into the lease that they're going to keep the deposit for cleaning, irregardless of the condition or how you left it, that's not valid. Final inspection. During the final week of occupancy, the landlord should inspect the property. If the landlord refuses to perform the inspection, the tenant should have witnessed inspection and or photograph the property and prepare a written statement for the apartment's condition. The tenant should date and sign the statement and have it witnessed. Get out. When the lease was signed, the tenant may have waived the 5-day notice to vacate requirement. Many standard lease forms contain a waiver of notice clause. Check the lease to find out whether it contains a waiver of notice to vacate. Proper eviction procedures. Clip this. Proper procedure must be followed. When the tenant breaches the lease agreement, i.e. fails to pay rent, the landlord must first deliver a written notice to vacate to the tenant. The notice gives the tenant 5 days, not counting the weekends or holidays, to vacate. If the tenant is not at home when the notice is given, then the notice may be posted on the door of the leased property. This has the same effect as delivering the notice to the tenant. If a tenant fails to vacate within 5 days of the notice, the landlord will begin eviction proceedings by filing a petition with the Justice of the Peace or City Court. The eviction trial will be heard 3 days after the tenant has been served. The tenant will then have to appear in court and state why he or she should not be ordered to vacate the property. If the Justice of the Peace finds the landlord entitled to evict the tenant, or if the tenant fails to appear at the trial, the court will rule in favor of the landlord. The tenant will be ordered to vacate the property within 24 hours. That's how a lot of these things happen. We don't show up. Once they get those notices and we don't show up, these courts are going to automatically side with the landlord, right or wrong. Proper eviction procedures continue. If the tenant fails to vacate the premises within 24 hours after the landlord is granted judgment of eviction, then the court must issue a warrant commanding the local sheriff, constable, or marshal to seize the leased property, remove the non-complying tenant, and return possessions of the leased thing to the landlord. Though not absolutely necessary, you may wish to have an attorney represent you at an eviction proceeding. An attorney is recommended if you believe you have legally valid reasons to contest the eviction and or wish to preserve your rights to appeal the judge's or the justice's decision. A tenant who has appeared at the trial and has argued a defense can file a suspensive appeal. In addition, an appeal bond must be applied for and filed within 24 hours of judgment of eviction. A landlord cannot legally evict a tenant without this procedure. If the landlord locks a tenant out of the leased property, puts a tenant's possession on the street, or otherwise takes law into their own hands, the landlord may be liable for damages for wrongful eviction. A landlord may file a separate suit to collect past due rent and may seize personal items such as furniture and appliances found in the property. If the landlord is unable to locate the tenant, the court has a procedure which will still allow the landlord to get a judgment against the former tenant. The landlord may get a court order to seize personal property in the property without posting a bond or other security. If this happens, it is probably best to consult an attorney. If the landlord does not follow proper legal procedures, the tenant may be entitled to damages. All right. Military termination and rights. Know your rights. If you're in the military, you have the right under current law regarding your rental agreement. I don't know that people particularly have this issue. Basically, you can screenshot this. That's not the meat and potatoes of what we're getting into. Louisiana law that prohibits discrimination in housing and related activities because of race, color, national origin, gender, religion, handicap, or familial status. Louisiana Equal Housing Opportunity Act 45. The Louisiana Equal Opportunity Act prohibits discrimination in housing and related activities because of a person's race, color, national origin, sex, religion, disability, or familial status. Warning signs of housing discrimination. Clip this. Refusing to rent housing. Falsely denying the availability of housing for inspection or rent. Differing terms, conditions, or privileges for certain people. Intimidating, interfering, or coercing a person to prevent him or her from leasing, renting a home or apartment. Landlord steering tenants to or from certain areas of the complex. All these things are illegal. Fair Housing Hotline. If you feel you have been discriminated against or want more information about equal housing, please, I guess they say please call Attorney General. But I mean, you're going to get in contact with the Attorney General's office. General Landry's office must remain neutral throughout the investigation and resolution process. The Louisiana Department of Justice can assist landlords with understanding their responsibilities under the law and help tenants recognize and report unfair housing practices. Free education is provided through fair housing seminars to the public. These are your resources. Screenshot that. And these are all the footnotes, blah, 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 blah. All right. All right, guys. Look, that was fairly easy, fairly simple. It was, you know what I mean? Hold on. Let me put this all back on the screen because I feel uncomfortable. Hold on. Wait. Where we go? There we go. All right. So, we did it, guys. That's what I was looking for. We did it, guys. It's the other one. It's the F download this one. That's the Michael Jackson. That's the old Bobby Womack standing the pause. So that being said, guys, what do we want to talk about, right? I want to talk about some of these real world experiences that I've had.
Oh,
Can you move from in front of the fan before you complain? Because
No.
I don't. Yeah,
because I have hot flashes, so no, I
that's
would
not. That's literally not my issue.
Well, I know it's not. But look, okay, so not talking about your experiences because really I don't care about your experiences, but the ideal is I'm hoping the right people were listening to this show, because what you just did was monumental. Because you, as you know, when we were with Sinlaw Housing, these type of situations kept coming up, and we kept telling people, are you reading your lease? Are you keeping a copy of your lease? Do you have copies of damages? Do you have? We were constantly telling people this over and over again, because you will lose the fight if you don't have the proper trail of paperwork, emails, whatever it is that your conversation or your discussion with that landlord, you have to keep those type of things handy. You have to have a place where you put your leases and everything. I was talking to somebody, I don't know what I did with my lease. So you're asking a question, you don't even have your lease. So if you don't have your lease and you want us to argue your case, it is not going to help us because we have no proof of your lease.
It keeps going out every time the fan hits the microphone. You go out.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me take it off of Oscar Lady. Yeah. Okay.
Off of what?
No, nothing.
What was the word?
So, it's called oscillating.
It's oscillating, ma'am.
It's oscillating. It's what I
Oh,
want
it's
to
not. It says oscillate.
Okay. Thank you for correcting me. So anyway, so if you don't have copies of your lease, either in a safe, in a drawer where you put all your other pertinent paperwork, with your birth certificates, with your social security cards, with your passport, all of that goes into an important place. And no matter what's going on, because lots of times there's a lot of chaos when stuff like this is happening, but make sure you have a place where you're putting all your important papers.
Put it in a Google Drive. I take a picture of my lease.
Yes, that's right. That's a good idea.
I scan my lease into my phone.
Yes,
right?
that's a
And
good
I put it in
Yeah,
my
my lease saved in my phone.
Yeah, I don't play no.
But everybody doesn't have that privilege. So
Yeah, they do. Everybody's got phones.
oh gosh, just let me talk to the people who probably don't know. Please, thank you.
If they're watching us, they got a phone.
Okay. Anyway, so if you have the paperwork, I'm old school too. So I have both. I have paperwork, and then it's best that if you want to scan it and keep it on your phone, that's great too. And you can get on any computer and pull it up in Google anyway. Either way it goes.
You can print it out if it's on your phone.
So you can definitely do that. So what we kept coming into was people not having a copy of their lease. People quickly signing and not understanding what they're signing. People who just, I just need a place to stay. And they don't care what it looks like and how it looks. And they move in and then they start having these issues. And you already signed the lease and you didn't read the lease. Those are type of problems we come face to face with, and we're trying to fight for you, but you don't have everything together. I'm not saying this in a negative way. I'm just trying to tell you guys how important it is to have your paperwork together. The ideal of filing your lease, I didn't know that. That was something new. That is a great ideal to do. File your lease with either the city or even with the parish. I would follow with both of them. And so if anything was to go down, they have a copy of your lease. You can get that copy and go from there with that. But definitely have a copy of your lease. That is a very important piece of paperwork. It's almost as important as your social security card and your birth certificate, especially when you want to keep a roof over your head, especially for you and your family. So this is so important. I'm so glad you did this, Tavares, and it was very informative. I'm sitting here like I never read it before, and I was very intrigued with a lot of this stuff. We have
Can people went without a lease? No, it's not legally binding without a lease.
That's right. I would never do that. I would never put myself in that position. You know why? Because if anything happens in that house, you're totally responsible for it. Yeah. And they were talking about having an oral agreement. Don't go for the oral agreement. Don't ever go for
No,
oral
everything needs to be written.
in writing.
Yeah, everything needs to be written down. And if it's like, all right, so the thing is, I do want to touch on some personal experiences, and not just me as the Housing Alliance president, because there was a lot of cases. It was a house on King's Court over there down 3rd off Willow Glen, where the young lady literally had mold growing in her house. Literally. She had mold growing in her house. And did you know that the landlord, let me tell you about this dirty ass city of Alexandria. So the landlord wanted her to get out, right? He didn't want to make right what was going on. Her kids were getting sick. She was getting sick. This was literally an unlivable, it was literally, oh, hold on. I need to get into that. I forgot about that part. All right. So, let me share this tab instead. So, this is some of the things, right? This quick AI overview, and there is, right? This says the Louisiana Department of Health. So, Louisiana tenants have key rights regarding habitability, security deposits, and an eviction process. Though state laws heavily favor landlords on rent control and fees, for official state guidelines and assistance, you can visit louisianalawhelp.org. Repairs and livability. A habitable home. You have the right to a safe, clean place with working water, electricity, and a secure structure. That is your right. And I don't care what kind of bald-headed, bearded landlord you got. I don't care what kind of stringy, fur-haired landlord you got or slumlord you have. These are your rights. And when the place becomes other than habitable, then they are in violation of your rights. Repair and deduct. If your landlord refuses to fix essential problems after a clear warning, you may fix them yourself and deduct the cost from your rent if the price is fair. That means don't go in there with a homeboy that does repairs and charges twice and whatever, trying to get something. Just do it fair. Just do it fair. Louisiana sets no maximum limit on how much a landlord can charge for a security deposit. Landlords must return your deposit within 30 days of the lease ending, along with a written list of any money taken out for damages. But that goes back to the part where on the last day of you habitating that place, you give him a forwarding address. As long as you give him that forwarding address, he has the obligation to return your deposit. Or he also has the obligation to write down what he spent your deposit on. And it has to have receipts. There is no rent control in Louisiana. Landlords can raise rent by any amount unless you sign the lease that says otherwise. So keep that in mind as well. But again, make sure that all your paperwork is in order, because when they go to try to raise your rent, right, they have to make sure that that place is in A1 condition. See, what I noticed is a lot of landlords are retaliatory. And I'll get into some personal stuff, right? So I had the city come, not the city of Alexandria, this is when I lived somewhere else. I had the city come and inspect my dwelling. I noted everything that they noted. I took pictures as they were doing it, right? So me and my landlord, the property managers, we got into a legal dispute, right? By the time we got to eviction court, because that's what they're going to do, they're going to retaliate by trying to either raise your rent or evict you to avoid having to fix the issue or pay you. By the time we got to eviction court, the legal documentation that I had, because they had let the problem go for so long, I literally had these people on the hook for punitive damages on the upside of 60 grand. because there was so much wrong, and it was so much that it was to the degree of how it was health hazard. Mold. I had mold in my air conditioner, so not only was the mold growing in the house, it was being circulated through the house, right? And no matter what letter, no matter what third-party inspector, no matter what I sent to the landlord, right, short of moving out, we were collecting these fees. And where I was at, check this out, where I was at, if they said that they were coming to test the fire alarms, right, for instance, and they never come and test the fire alarms, they notify you, but they never show up, you're entitled to damages for that. You're entitled up to that entire month's rent for the time period that they said. Listen, there's some stuff in these renters books and these rights that you have that you don't know you have. And if you flex that legal muscle, and this ain't nothing that you need to have $1,000 an hour lawyer for. These are things that you should know anyway. These are your renter's rights. These are your rights as a renter. You need to know these things. So as long as you know them, everybody should know these things. Landlords cannot legally lock you out, shut off your utilities, or throw your things out without going through the formal court eviction process, which is what I experienced on King's Court with that dirty son of a bitch of a landlord. He had the city of Alexandria come out there and cut the lady's utilities off from the pole. Not that she was behind on her bill, not anything else. They came and cut her lights off because he wanted her out, because he did not want to pay and want to. I have the files. I'm not going to put them out there because that's that lady. She called me in confidence. And yeah, but I was there. I physically was there as a part of my job with the Sinlaw Housing Alliance as the president. When people were getting evicted illegally, or when things were happening and they were not getting the responses that they needed to get from the landlords, I showed up. I showed up with a camera. I showed up with an audio recorder. I showed up. And I informed the landlord of what her rights were, just in case the landlord didn't know. And a lot of times, you got to back down. They got to back down. Because once they start violating the law, you're like, so you guys, they talk about pain and suffering, right? Pain and suffering can be calculated in a number of ways. Loss of sleep, health, whatever. Your food gets spoiled. If your refrigerator is broken and you tell the landlord, and your rental unit came with a refrigerator, and your refrigerator is broken, and you tell your landlord that your refrigerator is broken, he does nothing about it, and all of your food goes bad, they have to reimburse you for all of the food that was lost. They got to reimburse you for a number of things, including the money that you had to spend to replace the food that was lost. Like, man, let me tell you something. Knowing your renter's rights is something else. I'm talking about I had them people over a barrel. 60 grand. 60 grand, and we'd only been going back and forth a couple months. By the time it was all said and done, right, they wanted me on the hook for $8,000 in back rent. When we walked out of their courtroom, because I got into it with their lawyers, it got so bad that the judge was like, why don't y'all go out in the hallway and y'all discuss that? Mind you, we were the first case and we were the last case. So he had us go out there, and me and the property manager and their lawyer and all my paperwork, we went back and forth for 3 or 4 hours, to the point where when we came back in there, they agreed to yeah, just like that. But you got to know your rights. You got to know. Let me read some of these comments real quick. Got to know your rights. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I know someone who did that. I don't know what happened to the lady. Yeah, never do nothing without no paperwork. All right. Who else in Alexandria is telling folks this in Alexandria? I don't know. I know that it's our It's just you're right. Some of these houses are not worth the rent landlords are charging. That's why you go in through there with an inspector. Now, once you sign that lease, you're agreeing to whatever the terms of the lease is. And that doesn't mean that, I mean, if you go through there, right, and that property is not worth what they're charging, you have two options. You can be like, hey, look, you know what I'm saying? X, Y, and Z, just like when you buy a used car and them people come out the gate with, I want $15,000 for this. This is a 2001 Crown Vic. Come on, bro. This is the base model. This don't even got leather seats. Come on.
Another thing also, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
On my mind. Another thing that you would do if it was your property and you were renting it out, you should sit down with your tenant and go through the lease with them, sentence by sentence. I learned to do that because then they can understand, and if they have any questions and if they want to back out, they can do that. You give them that opportunity to do that as a landlord. That's what a good landlord would do. He would sit down, or she would sit down with them and go through the lease so that they understand fully what they're signing. Because a lot of times, you guys, I say this because as you heard him, Tabar, say, lots of times people just so in a hurry to get someplace to lay their heads, and they will sign a lease, and then you get all this list of problems that they've had since they've been in that house, and they've already signed the lease, and you're letting the landlord have the upper hand when you do that. So take your time. If he can't sit down with you, do not sign that lease until whatever questions that you have for him, he answers them fully. And if he can do it in writing, record what he's saying. Because if you don't, and you don't understand that, and you read, and you don't read it, and you sign it, you are on the hook for whatever it is. And the only thing he's going to tell you, because he doesn't care about your education level, he wants to know if you're going to be able to pay that rent every month. That's all he cares about. He's not caring about you at all. So we have to get that out of our heads, that they care. It's business. Just like when you go to the store and buy something, the clerk behind the counter don't care about your situation. The store owner don't care about your situation. It's the same thing with landlords. I would sit down and go through the whole lease with a potential tenant before I even encourage them or even help them sign the lease. I would do that. That's you doing your part. So there won't be no misunderstanding. So it's very important that you ask questions. Don't just sign. If it's something on that lease you don't understand, ask. No question is a stupid question. Okay? Ask the question. Get a clear understanding of what your obligation to them when you sign that lease.
Yeah, I think also so this is the landlord-tenant law for Louisiana. So what I did tonight was just kind of like a broad stroke overview, right? What we're going to get into on the next episode, on the part 2 of this, is we're going to talk about landlord-tenant laws. Sounds like how them white folks stole black people land on Bayou Rapids. Damn. He said, what about the landlords that be wanting sex instead of rent money? If it's not in the lease, then I wouldn't go with it.
That's right. You wouldn't get it if it's not in the lease.
Yeah.
If that's not a payment, if that's not a reference of pay, I wouldn't. I'm sorry.
We gotta put a dollar amount on this shit. You know what I mean? Mm-mm. No, let's stop that.
No, that's so dangerous for anybody to even I wouldn't even encourage no woman or no man to do no crazy stuff like that. Pay your rent. How about that? Just pay your rent.
So again, the law is in your favor. You just have to know how to utilize it. And there's things that they cannot do to you. Absolutely cannot do to you. And you have to know your rights. Like I said, I should have pushed a little bit harder, but the main focus was for them to, I wanted to be made whole. And that was my whole argument. I wanted to be made whole because I felt like they had violated my rights. Again, they did. They violated my rights as a tenant. They did not fulfill their end of the lease. And they also wanted to hold me liable and responsible for payments after the notification and inspections from third parties, letting them know what was wrong and how bad it was. But they would have got their way. But you got to fight. You know what I'm saying? You got to show up to those hearings, those eviction hearings, and you got to be prepared. You got to have all your paperwork in order. And I hate that we can't be as active as we used to be. But the best thing that I can do, the next best thing I can do is inform you. Now you can hit me up in my inbox and I can kind of give you some directions of how to, which way to go about it. But don't hit me up unless your paperwork is in order. I can't help you without the paperwork being in order. We can't help you without the paperwork being in order. If you don't have pictures, if you don't have, witnesses, if you don't have actual statements, if you don't have receipts, then I can't do anything. I can't. You're on the downside of the battle. You know what I mean? They're gonna get you. They're gonna find some type of loophole. And a lot of these people, a lot of these landlords have been evicting people for years, and they've gotten quite chummy with these judges, and these judges know them well.
Mm-hmm.
And they will side with them, and you will lose. And they will come and they will try to embarrass you and put your shit out and try to handle you bad, even though the landlord was a slumlord.
Because they've been doing it for so long.
They've been doing it together for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what did he say? Last time we got involved, Selita McCall almost went to jail. No, she wasn't going to jail that day. Man, it was going to be me. It was going to be me. My homeboy pulled up. He had just bought that Benz truck. Oh. And I looked presidential as hell. I came out there, he pulled up and slid into that parking lot of Bethel Apartments, and I hopped out the back seat, and Mama was over there arguing with the people. They had the police everywhere. It was like 3 or 4 cops, and I'm on 10. As soon as I get out, like, how the fuck is y'all gonna try to handle her bad when all she doing is, well, she's not allowed on the premise. You can't tell somebody who they can bring and not bring in their house. The fuck. And so it just went on from there. But
remember, they even wrote a letter to their tenants. They sent a letter out to their tenants that they were not allowed to have any communication with us. And if they did, they was going to start eviction paperwork on them. They threatened them. They threatened the tenant that talked to us.
Man, what do you know, folks? What do you know? Guess what I found? Cause see, I think y'all be thinking that we be just capping and shit. We don't be capping, y'all. This we be real life with this shit. We be real life with this shit. Hold on. So all I had to do was Facebook, Google, the Cenla Housing Alliance, and we still have the pages up, and we haven't posted there in quite some time. But Nat, of course, back in 2021, he said the Cenla Housing Alliance talked to some folks at Bethel Apartments about the problems they were having in the apartments, and a letter was written later that day. It seems like to me, it means keep your damn mouth shut about what's going on in this apartment complex. This was somebody that sent Mom a message. I talked to you yesterday. Thank you so much for stepping up for us. We really appreciate it. This morning, she had the nerves to send us this paper, but it's okay. God sits high and looks low. It says, dear residents, the organization known as Cenla Housing Alliance is banned from the property as of Thursday, July 22nd, 2021. The named organization above is not affiliated with Bethel Apartments or HUD. You do not have to speak with any of the members or give out any personal information. If any resident comes into contact with the organization or persons affiliated with the Cenla Housing Alliance, you can deny them entry, notify the office, or call the Alexandria Police Department. If the person or persons are found inside of your unit, you will be subject to lease violations and or further consequences. If there are any comments or concerns, please feel free to call the office. As always, thanks to management. Where's Bethel Apartments now? It took some time, but where they at now?
They closed.
Where they at now? Where's the management team for Bethel Apartments at now?
I don't know.
Yeah. That's what kind of timing we was on, and nobody even knew. And that's cool. It's not that big of a deal for everybody to know. But the people that needed to be helped got helped. Point blank, period.
We were basically trying to help people as much as we could. We did a lot of training with Housing Louisiana. Is actually our mother, was mother over all the alliances that are across Louisiana. We weren't the only alliances. There's several of them. There's one in Monroe, there's one in Shreveport, Lake Charles. All of us were all together in a whole, under Housing Louisiana. And this is the type of work everybody were doing in their parishes and in their cities. We just so happened had this, and this was actually Miss Agnes Francisco is the one who actually they approached with it. We took it over when Miss Agnes decided that, she wanted us to.
Oh no, don't skip out on the story. So Jack Hinton, Miss Agnes trusted Jack. Yes. This is before Urban Cast. This is before all that. And I know, I get it, folks. Y'all want us to stop dropping these names because some of these people are people y'all fuck with. I don't care. The fact remains, before Jack was a sellout like he is now, he sold out the Sellout Housing Alliance. And this was we brought it back in 2019. So it went dormant for like a good year, year and a half. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So from like 2017 to 18, something like that, 19, right before, like a year before COVID kicked in, we got back to work. Mom took it back over, and we opened up shop. We got back in contact with all the people that we put the network back together, right? And we did that. And let me tell you something. It wasn't just Alexandria. We couldn't get out of Alexandria. We covered 9 parishes, by the way. We covered 9 parishes. We were the Sellout Housing Alliance, the Sellout Housing Alliance. And we couldn't even get out of Alexandria. We couldn't get to the problems that they said they was having. What is that, Boyce, where they said the housing people was taking payola to move people up the list? Yeah, they said that the housing authority was taking payola to move people up the list. And Boyce, we couldn't even get to that problem because we were so wrapped up in what was going on in Alexandria. And then it was only but so many. It was maybe 4 of us, and we couldn't be everywhere at one time. Literally impossible. Yeah, see, I knew I was right. Yep. Yeah. We couldn't even get to that. Do you know if we would have ever got to that story the way we should have got to that and cover and got involved the way we were supposed to get involved, people would be in jail right now. I hope to God they're not still doing it. But when you talk about people like the Housing Authority for Alexandria and the people that run that, if you look now, they got a cleaned up act. I ain't saying they doing everything perfect, but they trying to hide a lot more than they used to, because back in a couple years ago, boy, all of their little faults and fuck ups was out in the open. It's like they didn't even care. But I guess now they're doing a better job of community outreach and hiding it, but it's still going on. I know it's still going on. And yes, even the housing authority has to abide by these rules. Even the housing authority. Matter of fact, the housing authority has to abide by them even more stringent, because those houses are subsidized by the government and they get inspected by officials. by people acting on behalf of these. When they come and do your inspection at your house, those people are telling HUD that this house is livable. Let's keep paying for their house. That's what they're doing. Now, if they go around lying to HUD, that's a federal offense. It's a number of things. But if you're falling into this category, just know you might not like what we say, you might not like how we say it, but I can guarantee you we will not turn away anybody that needs this kind of help. I will guide you somewhere in the right direction. I will help.
And again, when you say that, if you guys are not doing your part, then we stall. We have to stall because it's so much. We only have so much power to move things around.
Yeah.
So the ideal of you staying up on what needs to be done, you need to stay up on it. I even remember when this happened, Nat was with me. We were tracking people. We were taking people back and forth. What happened was, who got involved, Housing Louisiana came down. The public, what's his name? The legal team came down. The legal team here in Alexandria came down, and we had a meeting at New Scott Alley. They were nice enough to let us have a meeting there. And the people were scared to get in the car to drive to New Scott Alley because they were afraid someone was going to see them in the car coming to our meeting, because we made everybody know we were having that meeting. So they were afraid to get in the car because they were scared that they were going to be threatened with eviction.
Retaliated against,
because the people who were running Bethel Apartments were gangsters, so-called
gangsters. Yeah, you look at you so-called gangsters. Well, you ain't never been you ain't been on no real shit like this.
Yeah, so because of that, a lot of people did not. The legal aid guy, that's who it was, the legal aid lawyer, took his time out of his afternoon to sit there with us and talk to some of the people who actually wanted to show up. A lot of people did not want to see, because it's still light out. So they didn't want to see them getting in the cars to be driven down there. Right? Remember that, Mr. Turner? They were afraid to get in the cars with us so we could take them down to New Scott Alley. This is how Alexandria has been ran. And like you said, Tavares, I don't care how we deliver the message as long as you get the message. We're not here for you to like us. Let me say that. We're not trying to win no popularity contest. We were here to do work. We saw what our Black people needed, and we stepped up and did it. Nobody else was doing that. Nobody. We were the ones who were doing that. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying it because we were passionate about what we wanted to see done correctly.
I didn't understand how the depth of the scope of how big it would, like the problems that the problems that we were running into.
It was nonstop. It was
literally nonstop. It was literally nonstop. And we gained this, really boosted our local presence, because once we started telling people that the landlord ain't nobody to be afraid of. Matter of fact, you're a contractual partner with the landlord. They don't have the upper hand. They own the property, but once they agree to that lease, you guys are now we're in this together, champ. You got to hold up your end. I got to hold up my end. They're going that.
Yeah, but they were so scared.
What's going on?
Hey there, Nat. How you doing?
All right. Ms. McCall is telling God honest truth. Those people, they might as well say, I'm scared to leave the plantation. They gonna whip me if I get caught. And all those people that was in Bethel Apartments, I think, 4 of them there showed up?
Oh, yep.
Yeah, 4. Yeah. And that's a tragic sight in itself, to see some people living in those conditions and scared to speak up about the conditions that they're living in. When you do that, that creates the slums right there. That's what creates slums. You know you live in this condition. You don't have no running water. You got mold in your house. You can see downstairs from upstairs. All you got to do is look down in the hole in your living room floor. And you won't even say nothing about it. And they were scared. Like it was the 1930s. Oh, please hide me. Like they had, look, they like they black folks going out to vote and something back in the old days.
Exactly. You're 100% correct.
And it's a shame. I mean, a total shame. And see, here's the thing, Tavares. Like your mama said, you don't have to do what you're doing. Nobody's telling folks this information in Alexandria, but you. Now, here's the thing. When you don't like the messages and the message affects you, then you have a problem. Because Tavares, this helps folks in Alexandria. Nobody else going to tell them the rules because they really don't know the rules. They don't know the laws and stuff like that. So you breaking it down like you're doing, this should be some of the most shared stuff in Alexandria.
Well,
only because people don't know what's going on.
I know that the last show that we did, I don't know if we were being messy or what, but apparently that everybody consumed that at a higher rate. So while I got people's attention, while we have people's attention, I want them to actually have something that everybody can use, because there's not a lot of black home ownership in Alexandria. That's what people like Malcolm is trying to change, right? So because we rent at such a high rate, we need to be armed with this information. This is absolutely imperative that you guys know that if you haven't looked at your lease, if you over there and Clarence Reed is somebody that negotiated your lease, you might want to read that something. You might want to read it.
Yep.
You might want to read it a couple times.
Yep.
You might want to see if they can read it.
Here's the thing, Tavares. The same people that need help now, they won't stand up with you. They were not standing up with you at the city council meeting years ago when you tried to avoid all this.
Oh, you're talking about the rental registry. Yeah, I forgot about that.
And then white folks came out in droves to make sure that that didn't happen.
Yep.
Them white folks came out in droves to make sure what Tavares was trying to push for did not happen. Because they said, if you do the rental registry, we're going to raise the rent.
And we had somebody on the north side in a real estate meeting that got that information straight from the horse's mouth. They recorded it. And they said that they would go, if we started a renter's registry, they were going to go up on the rent. And these are real estate agents because they're property managers. A lot of these properties around here are owned and operated by real estate companies. So they said in a meeting, in a real estate meeting, and stated that they would go up on the rent.
Rhonda Reap Curiel. A lot of you Rotary Club, while a lot of you Rotarians is with this stupid shit.
Yep.
That's why we got one for you.
Yep.
Coats. All that stuff.
And Tavares was fighting. And he was fighting for people that he didn't have. Let me tell you something. You're better than I am. I'm going to say it like that.
Man, you know how this is. I wouldn't be, you saying all that, Nat, but a lot of this shit is because of you anyway.
That's right now. So don't even try.
Yeah, you saying
you
all
a
that.
big old teddy bear. You ain't nothing but a big teddy bear. Don't even play.
Yeah, but I'm like hard.
What we wanted was throughout the major cities in Louisiana. So long time I've been saying that it already been mandated. But here's the thing: we were trying to get the city of Alexandria to adopt a rental registry, and they fought us tooth and nail. I'm talking about tooth and nail. They talk. Listen. These people. They bucked so hard. Rhonda Reap Curiel, who's friends with Deborah Randolph, who's friends with Jock Roy, they bucked so hard. They talked about maybe we should do like what they're doing in Baton Rouge and create a St. George. Yeah, they were going to secede from the city.
Yep, Rhonda Reap said that. Sure did.
Yeah.
That's why I don't. These white folks can say whatever they want to. I know who y'all. I know the stuff y'all don't really. I know the diabolical depths when we had ACID, right? Guess who went down there to Baton Rouge to say that? Well, you don't need ACID. We can't even get into the concept of ACID, but it was about black folks and being a tax authority. It was kind of like Gator, but it was more directed towards us. Jock Roy, Rhonda Reep, Deborah Randolph, and the other funny looking motherfucker, they all went down to Baton Rouge, sat in front of the state legislature, and said that we don't need ACID.
Sure did.
You talking about people, you want to argue with me about how I feel about these people that are involved in these local politics. These people been doing this shit to y'all. This didn't just start. We not just bringing it up now. They've been doing you like this.
Yeah.
When you holler, you don't want to have nothing to do with politics. Look at the end result. You're drinking brown water. You got unsafe streets. They refuse to put cameras up. They refuse to hire people to protect. Okay? All of that.
Yeah. And guess what? It had a vote on it.
Mm-hmm.
They had a vote on $100 million to bring in a juvenile center that didn't put no preventative programs before the kids even get to the juvenile center. So
sure did.
When you say you don't vote, you don't get involved. You'll get involved one way or another.
It says that you either gonna get involved or it's gonna evolve on you.
That's right.
City of Shreveport rental registration program, property program. In December 22, the City of Shreveport implemented a rental registry property program. Pursuant to Ordinance 195 of 2022, no individual, corporation, business trust, estate, trust, partnership, or association may rent or offer to rent to individuals or household any rental dwelling unit until the residential rental property has been registered and a certificate of registration has been issued by the office of the MPC. Residential rental properties include any single family, two-family, triplex, fourplex, manufactured home, townhome, condominium, and/or apartments being offered to rent. You are not allowed to rent that property unless it is on the registry.
Yeah,
that's holding
people
accountable.
They got the same thing in New Orleans.
They got it in Baton Rouge too.
They have it in, yes, they sure do.
But the state of Alexandria say this is our state. We run it how we want to run it. We got our own utilities. We don't need no utilities. So what everybody else doing it? That's New Orleans. You know what I got told? That's New Orleans. That's New Orleans. That ain't got nothing to do with Alexandria.
Damn. Boy, you bringing up some memories right So, like you talking about New Orleans, right? This is Orleans Parish. Landlords must register rental properties and obtain a certificate of compliance under the Healthy Homes Program. To me and Mr. Porter, let me tell you something. Me and Mr. Porter had worked out a whole entire holistic program for the entire city. That's when he was still the council person. And we did a live about it. And man, they had to take out my other accounts. They had to, because some of those lives that we were doing were so informative. They were just like, it was like a blank slate. It was a chalkboard. And we had pinpointed the ideas of what we wanted, but we had also wrote out a route to how to get there. I had a program where I was setting up where we could use these public parks as training facilities for people to get informed on things. We'll meet up at the park at this certain day, at this appointed time, and we would do it regularly, and we would inform the people on different random things, whether it was parish-wide or citywide or statewide. Holistic things that got the community involved. But again, you know, they wonder why they send people like Shakola and Clarence Reed after good people, and why you always see them defending fuck shit, excuse my language. That's because that's the shit they own. That's what the fuck they're there to purport and promote the silliness and the foolishness and to not be accountable for shit once the shit hits the fan. Because like mama always say, it only take you one time to cross me. It's on for life after that. I promise you. But again, you know, everybody not like that. A lot of the people, you know, that's my cousin, that's my baby daddy, uncle, brother, cousin, sister, son. You know, they on that shit, and I don't be with that shit. I don't give a fuck who you is. You crossed me, you did me dirty. You did my people dirty.
Well, I got a project I'm working on about the stolen land of Bayou Rapides. So that's why I'm kind of mute now.
Well, listen, if you need help with that, sir, you know what to do.
Oh, yeah. I just got to make sure all the ducks in a row before I bring it to the table.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You got to make sure all the ducks in a row before I bring it to the table.
That's the best
But,
way to...
yes, ma'am. You know, and that's why, Tavares, they got to make sure people like you are quiet. They got to make sure they tell black folks to try to, you know, incriminate us on stuff because the stuff that we speak is the truth. We're not going to speak no gossip. We're going to make sure it's truth before we speak. And they know it's true, so they'll get other black folks to say, hey, don't believe what he's saying. You know, he's trying to mislead the people. Well, I'm misleading the people when I don't have no dog in the fight. You don't have no dog in the fight in Alexandria, Tavares, so Mr. Leader don't. I don't. So what would we gain by teaching you right? Mr. Porter was trying to lead and do stuff the right way, and there was Negroes that said get him out of office.
Yep, sure was.
There was Negroes that said get him out of office. When he said we don't need to spend $15 million on Johnny Downs because we have other projects need to be done in the city. We have drainage issues. We have open ditches. Negroes said he needs to get out of office. Well, wait a minute. He's trying to help. And they were influential Negroes, so people followed them. Mm-hmm. And now they saying stuff like, I hope Mr. Porter run. No. You see, so, you know, they forgot what they had because they were influenced by people that were paid to make sure that he didn't do right. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's our own people that bring detrimental stuff like that to the race. And it started a long time ago. I mean, even with Louis Chaney back in the days when he told the slave master that we having a revolt. His name was Louis Chaney, right? I'm gonna make sure.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Louis Chaney. My bad. Yeah, it was Louis Chaney. Even he told. So this stuff been going on, y'all, and it's sad. I just say it like that. I'm going on mute.
Man, let me tell you something. I just got this damn message, and I'm tempted. What's the negative impact of the renter? There was no negative impact of the renters registry. No. Absolutely none. What it was is that the white folks didn't want to have those houses up to standard.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to have them houses up to standard.
Yeah, and I guaranteed you they were bullying those tenants.
Absolutely.
To keep them.
Well, here's another thing.
Not complain.
Or the person that sent that message. They see we stand up for the wrong thing because they talk. See, that don't make no sense because we'll talk a whole lot of stuff, but when it comes down to walking, nobody wants to do a damn thing. See, they don't want to stand up for themselves. They want other folks to do it.
Mm-hmm. All the time.
It wasn't nothing negative about that. I know they're not being, you know, they're asking, you know, why would the white people turn it down?
Yeah, why would they buck against it?
Yeah. So I understand what that person's asking because they probably bucked against it because there wasn't enough Negroes in there to stand up for their own damn self. How about that?
Yeah.
How about that?
It was just us coming in there.
You see what I'm saying? So if you ain't got enough Negroes in there to stand up for yourself, 1 or 2 ain't gonna do no good. 3 or 4. We need hundreds. So don't ask, what happened. No, you need to stand up in situations when you see stuff like that happen. What you got to lose? If you live it in hell, where could you go bad after that?
Yeah.
You can't go. You already in hell. So what they gonna do to you? You drinking brown water. You live in neighborhoods that ma'am.
I'm sorry, you said brown water. I apologize for interrupting, but I wanted to tell you guys, I had a conversation with my cousin today. Again, we don't live in Alexandria, but we have a lot of family because my mom is from down here. So I had a call today. I was talking to my cousin, and she's telling me where she lives at, the water has a smell to it. And she is under AUS. And she's told them several times that her water has a smell to it. So I'm going to talk to Mr. Porter and connect.
And Dr. Bowles. We got to talk to Dr. Bowles.
And Dr. Bowles, too. I forgot about Dr. Bowles. Dr. Bowles, let me tell y'all something. Dr. Bowles was in the fight with us.
Dr. Bowles is in the trenches. I can't even talk. We can't even talk about Dr. Bowles like that. Dr. Bowles was in the trenches, in the dirt with us.
Yes, sure was. Yep. So yeah, I'm gonna get a hold to her. I'm gonna get a hold of Mr. Porter first and talk to him about it. But she said she's been having this smell on her water for the longest, and she's with AUS. So my thing is, and this is something I got today. It's 2026, and you see what we're still dealing with. And she was even brave enough to call them. She's not scared. She's just brave enough to call them. So just having that conversation, and we're not even in the fight. Well, I'm not directly in the fight.
Oh, we still doing it. We still put,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
but
you know how it is. We can't get out of it. Is what I'm saying.
And let me say something else while you're saying it. You guys, I want you guys to look at what activism is, because I think a lot of times people do not understand what activism is. Activism is not running with your tail tucked under you and scared to say something. That's not what activism is. Activism is sacrifice, right? Activism is putting yourself in a dangerous situation at times because you're trying to help your people. That's what activism is, okay? It don't have to be that, but that's what it ends up to be. Everybody's not cut out for this work. Most people get tired. Most people get scared and they go sit down. I can't do this. And if you're really about it, it never goes away. Did you hear what Nat just said? Nat said he's working on a project right now. We do not live, and we don't live in Bayou Rapides. He doesn't live down Bayou Rapides. Okay?
Yeah, well, I live on the other street.
Okay, you live on the other street. Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't live down there. We don't live in those areas. Activism gives you, and you have the passion to see things through. You want to help as many people as you can in activism. And you will take some shots. You will get people pulling up your background and making fun of your background. Nothing to be ashamed of. It's your background. That means it's behind you. You're not dealing with it today. It's something that's happened a long time ago. And if you are, so what? You're doing the work. And that's what matters. You're doing the work when nobody else wants to. We would have meetings with the Sinaloa Housing Alliance. We would beg people to come to our meetings so that we can inform them like we're doing now, letting them know what's coming up.
Perfect example is the lady that is the lady just to switch to the Nolan Wells case, the lady that cleaned up the audio and separated the background noise and all this other stuff. So she did that, right? And this lady named Sarah Fields, I'm not gonna despair. This lady went as far as to go 10 years back in this lady's past. This is white supremacy. This is how it works.
Yes, I
she
saw
went
that.
10 years back in this lady's past to pull up a misdemeanor of her getting arrested so she could go out and target that lady, so she could be discredited behind the audio.
Yep, sure did. I saw that.
You see what I'm saying?
First of all, they done you the same way.
Man, let me tell you something. Nat, you tempted me to do it. You tempted me to do it because it's happening right now. It's happening right now on YSKT. And I'm really tempted to go there, but I'm not gonna go there because I'm responding in real time while they playing in my face. But that's a different story. If y'all really want to get that type of dirt, it's on YSKT on the post I'm showing right now, but I'm not gonna show that part. But anyway, YSKT, I need you to realize what just happened. Let me get to the comment section over here. Cut this off so everybody can read. So the lady that I started out the show with has responded 5 minutes ago. She said, I never said I was scared. Louisiana is a stand your ground state, right? That's letting you know that y'all shoot people, right? I didn't appreciate the language he was using. I was raised better than that. Also, where I was raised, men didn't threaten to come in someone's yard and hit a woman in the face. Again, this is a scenario with no evidentiary backup other than her saying it. I was also called the hard N-word. This is a word I don't even use. Things have just changed so much in this world. People aren't kind anymore. He could have been nicer about the whole situation.
You could have mind your business and took
Let me show you the lady that's complaining. You know who this looks like? This looks like Miss Salter. This looks like my fucking second grade teacher.
Damn, Tavares, it might be.
It is. From Pineville Elementary. Let me look down here. This looks like Miss Salter. She was racist as shit at Pineville Elementary.
But go into her about.
I'm not gonna do all that. I came over here to tell her this, right? Now, let me show y'all this. She said that somebody came into her yard, and let me show y'all this. Hold on. And I hope this was inspiration.
White people call white people niggas all the time.
That's right.
No, I be going out in the world. I be calling the police on white people, and it does something to me. So I felt that feeling, last time when I called on that white girl. So I had to try something different, and I called the white man the N-word. I did with the hard R. With the hard R. He was so appalled by it. Like, it really did something to his spirit. And it made me so happy. Like, listen, I don't know. Maybe this is what they be getting out of it. I don't know. But after he got mad, I said he's chimping out. And he got even madder. He got more angry. It was amazing. Like, man, this is a newfound thing for me. And I want to share my joy with y'all. Go out today. Before they can say something crazy, call them the N-word with the hard R. It'll change the world, man.
That's crazy. That was crazy.
He's chimping out. She chimped out. She went to go talk about getting a gun on a guy that was on her sidewalk.
She said your teacher looked black, Miss.
No, that Miss Salter, hell no. Miss Salter, see, she used to paddle. This is when paddling was a thing at Pineville Elementary. She used to paddle all the black kids. See, y'all don't know, man. I grew up around here. So if y'all don't know a guy named Travis Dozat, if y'all don't know what was that white girl named Roxy, Michelle, Rayla, we were all in the same class, right? Matter of fact, Desmond Meeks was in. Miss Salter had a homegirl that was she was 2 doors down, and that old ass white lady would bring the black students into Miss Salter's class to paddle them. This was Pineville Elementary.
That's almost like Ruby Wise. Ruby Wise was racist too.
No, she wasn't black, Miss Velma. Oh man.
You might have some in her. You never know.
Nah, she definitely.
You might have
didn't.
something in her.
No, definitely not. There, nah.
You saying she ain't passing?
Nah, she's not. No, not at all.
Actually, you should ask her. Are you the
I don't want because I might cuss her out. Because I still remember. I remember she tried to paddle me one day, and Mayetta had to come up there. Yeah, and anytime Mayetta pull up to your school, and you didn't do nothing wrong, yeah, everybody might want to duck. But that's neither here nor there. Like I said, you guys, if you're not keeping up with YSKT, then you don't know what's really going on. YSKT keeps us very aware and in the know, does the due diligence, asks the hard questions. Like this post altogether was about Philip Terrell and his comments about how he felt like Pineville was safer than Alexandria, right? And it presented the problem where if Pineville was so safe, how come that doesn't translate over into Alexandria if you're the person for the entire parish? And then you start naming names. You got Gremleon, Mark Woods, and Jock Roy. You know what I'm saying? These people, and don't forget, what was his name?
King.
Yeah, King. Jared King. Jared King was in on it too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so there's a lot of extenuating circumstances that preclude criminality and what goes on in Alexandria. You know what I mean? So that's what the course of the basis of that
my issue with Miss Salter, I'm sorry to interrupt you like I did, that's rude. My issue with Miss like you said, his First Amendment rights was to use all the language he wants. I'm not apologizing for nobody experience. I'm not. I'm sorry. She should have minded her business and put her dog up, especially if he was walking on a public sidewalk. She should have put her dog up and minded her business. You don't have to say. That's the problem with them. They always think they have a need to be a Karen when nobody said anything. He was talking to the dog. That meant that dog was probably scaring him. So what she should have done as a nice, cute neighbor is, okay, you are uncomfortable with my dog. I'm going to put him up. You go ahead and walk by, or nothing, or don't say nothing at all. I'm not smooth selling.
No, she was going to shoot him.
Yeah, she wanted to stand your ground. What is all that about? Because he cussed you out? He probably was telling her to mind her damn business. That's probably what he was telling her. And put that dog up.
He probably wasn't even saying nothing to her.
That's true, because we don't know what was said.
Right, because she doesn't have any evidence.
Exactly.
Now, say for instance, she took this story to the police and that man ended up dead.
Yeah.
In that whole instance.
For nothing.
For nothing.
She should have kept her mouth shut and stayed in her yard.
They can't.
I know, that's the point. That's why I'm not sympathetic toward them. And I'm sorry, I'm just not. I don't have it in me at all anymore. Back in the day, oh yes, I was deep into taking care of everybody. When my mindset, when it comes to us and all that we've been through, Tavares, it kind of changed how I see things now. I'm serious, it does. And how they double down on their racist rants, their racist ways they treat us, they double down on it. So to get me to have sympathy for one of them all the time, I can't do it. To each his own. I can't do it because they don't have sympathy toward us.
I mean, it's not nothing they actively practice anyway.
No, it's not. It was never in them. That's what people got to understand. It was never in them. They fake. They go to church. They sit in church on Sunday, praise God, read their Bible, do their Bible study, women's church and little children. They do all of that. And then when they want to use that hard R against us, they do it. They sit around each other and talk about us. Look at how they talk about how bad Alexandria is. You know that's directed to us. That's not directed to anybody else but us. Look how they want to, I'm not going to go to the park. I'm not going to go over there to the pickleball court. Who do you think who lives over in that area? Who literally really lives over in that area?
Is that on KLAB? Was that on KLAB? where they was talking like that?
They kept on talking about, I'm not going out there. They're going to get shot. Now, I've been to Alexandria, and I'll tell anybody, yeah, Alexandria might have areas in it that's unsafe, but it's not going to stop me from going to Alexandria. It's not going to stop me from doing. I have no other choice because there's no major, real big stores in Pineville unless I go to Lafayette or Shreveport. So I go to Alexandria. I use Alexandria. And I shop in Alexandria. So I have a right to say something. If I need to say something about how Alexandria is, I have a right to, because my money is spent in Alexandria. A lot.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at what I've heard.
What is that?
Can you see this?
Yes, that was the meeting we were having for everybody.
Hold on, it's not sharing the sound. Stop screen. I gotta share the
You said, didn't they find someone else dead today in Pineville?
I think they did.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think they did.
I didn't know that.
Again, that's the Listen.
I can't hear it. Can you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear it.
And Housing Louisiana. Looking forward to seeing you guys 6 p.m. at the New Scott Alley Baptist Church. Hi, you guys. This is Salita here.
What car was that? Was that the Jeep?
Housing Alliance and Housing
No, that's the Cadillac.
That was the Cadillac.
6 p.m. at the New Scott Alley Baptist Church.
Oh, I see why I can't hear it. Now look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this.
Okay. Hi, you guys. This is Salita here. And I came by. I want to kind of share some things with you.
Y'all go discuss. Y'all go find these. Where I don't even know where you was at.
I was in a hotel.
Y'all listen. I'm finna share this to the. Where can I share this? I'm finna share this to.
A lot of these corporations are not giving back.
We're gonna send this to the Can't Leave Frank show page. Y'all can go watch this in its entirety, just to give you guys an idea of actually, like, literally how long we've been really at this, and how long we've been with y'all. How long it's been a us versus how long it's been a just, you know what I'm saying, us just talking. On that note, folks.
Heard on 6 News. Okay.
On the 6 o'clock news.
Okay.
Yeah. I hope. Yeah, I did. It's somebody on Pierce Street or something like that, or Price of P Street. It was something.
See, I don't
Let me see what else. I will be giving you guys updates on the Mello case. Carmelo is right now we're waiting on the court date. I think it's August the 19th. Matter of fact, because I said I would do that. And we're gonna, let me see where it stand with Carmelo. There we go. Share screen. All right. So as of right now, defendants verified motion to recuse. Okay, so right now, August 19th and the 20th, August the 19th is going to be where they're going to have the hearing for the judge to recuse himself, right? There's another judge that is going to determine whether or not Judge John Roach should recuse himself. And the next day after that is going to be the hearing for the retrial. And if what happens on the 19th, if Judge John Roach is recused, well, either way, even if he isn't recused, the next day is going to happen. So if he is recused, then the case will go, the hearing for the retrial will go to another judge. That judge will hear the argument for whether or not he gets a retrial. Now, what's got all these white folks, and that these white folks are low-key glad that Nolan Wells is in the news, because it didn't push Carmelo off to the side. The fact that these two things are happening in 2026 and they're happening at the same time, It just, they rather talk about Nolan than to talk about the possibilities of what can happen with Carmelo. See, Carmelo, they celebrated. They were doing victory laps. He got 35 years. He should have got 90. Well, if this recusal happens and Judge John Roach has pulled off this case, which there's a strong argument that he will be, right? The next day, they're going to hear the motion for the retrial. So if they're able to argue that case to where this case gets a retrial, let me tell you what happens after that. The previous sentence is rescinded, canceled, revoked. And that means that Carmelo would be able to come home if they go before a bond hearing where he could be waiting for his trial. He'd be able to come home just to wait on his trial. When I say that these white folks' heads are going to fucking explode if that happens, and when that happens, I pray to God it happens. Because free Melo, and justice for Nolan, and justice for all of those people that have been lynched in Mississippi, in South Carolina, the young man that was lynched in Michigan. Rest in peace to all those people, and justice for all those people. It's 2026. They don't even want black folks carrying guns. And they carry them happily. Some of these open carry states like Louisiana, all you got to do is be 18. See, let me tell you something about how they do us with these weapons. The Second Amendment wasn't for us in their mind. The right to bear arms, when black people are bearing arms, they criminalize it, they demonize it, they do the most. When white people carry arms, I'm protecting my family. When black people carry arms, we're trying to rob somebody. It's impossible for us to be protecting our families or ourselves. So when we use things like self-defense, like what Carmelo did, it's impossible, it's implausible to them. They don't have it in their mind to where somebody would defend themselves against white aggressors. That is the same thing with Nolan. They want us to believe that this lone black kid went on this excursion with all these white folks and nobody knows what happened. And they demonize everybody. This is the same thing, y'all. It's just a new lynch mob. Oh yeah. Wait. So if you guys don't think that this shit is coordinated.
They spoke in code. That phone call was not just an alibi. That phone call was them speaking in code. Jeffrey Akerson? Yeah, try that. Try Jeffrey Akerson. Hey, Captain. Yeah, it's a bunch of kids. Yeah, they just sound so distressed. They said their boat is sinking, and I don't know. He just told me about his grandfather, but he couldn't give me any more information. Oh, I don't really have time to really help any non-members at this point. Yeah, but check, see, Jeffrey's is, yeah. Oh, Jeffrey. Oh, his grandfather. Yeah, he called me and he said that, his grandson, they figured it out. They don't need any help at this time. But let me talk to the grandson, and then I'll call the grandpa. Click. Y'all. They're speaking in code. The captain is in on it. Vicky not in on it. That's why Vicky actually panicking. Captain cool, calm, collected. Oh, I don't really have time for any non-members, but Jeffrey's a member. So why did you? Because Vicky wouldn't let it go. So now the grandpa did call me and they said they got it figured out. So they're sinking, but all of a sudden they good? No. Yeah, let me talk to the grandson so we can. Y'all in on it. Captain is in on it. The tow company, the captain, yeah, they gonna tow a boat to another island, a boat carrying Nolan. Why are they doing all this? Why? Does it seem like so many people are involved? A judge is gonna lie outwardly. A sheriff is gonna lie outwardly. They're putting careers on. The governor is gonna lie outwardly. Because it's an orchestrated system. They got a clean up network down in Jackson County, Ocean Springs, Mississippi. That's why a judge can confidently herself in what is supposed to be an ongoing investigation. That's why they can, in your face, tell you blatantly it's a drowning, not even showing an attempt to investigate. Like, that's how, even though the whole world is looking at them, they can still continue to push forth Warren and Trayson and Javon to come lie to us, because it's a network. It's a network. They got a cleanup network. This not their first rodeo. They've been done this. A lot of accidents that they've helped cover up, that they helped clean up after. So yeah, they are going to fight tooth and nail and take very aggressive moves, because you expose one of them, you expose it all. You expose the network, and they're done for. Too many powerful people involved for that to happen. They're going to fight to the death. And so will we.
CETO Assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the work coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles? Hello?
What'd you say? Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like, we're going down now.
What did we just hear? What was that? Straight out to investigative reporter Crime Stories, Dave Mack. Did you just hear what I heard? Now, this has been transcribed, and this is the CETO dispatch call. Because, Dave, when I first heard this, I thought, has this been doctored? Is this real? Where's this coming from, Dave?
This is an official recording, Nancy, that is being issued, and it's shocking when you listen to this call for a tow, for the CETO. Going further into it, Nancy, you're picking apart all of the different voices that can be heard on this one phone call, trying to determine what is really taking place on this boat that is allegedly sitting in 31 feet of water, a depth of 31 feet. And a bilge pump not working, claiming they're sinking, and calling for help. And yet, in the background, are we really hearing all of this other activity?
They said that woman made that shit up. They said that when she went and investigated and inspected the audio files and separated them from the left and the right ear and raised the volume and cleaned up the audio, that she made it up. And then they proceeded to dox her. Sheriff Fields proceeded to put her business out, try to air that lady laundry out like Sarah Fields is some absolved person that is holier than thou. No. And then when Sarah, let me tell you something. When these white folks activate, right? When that network activates, especially online, the harassment is relentless. The fake tears are relentless. It's a lot like what that Salter lady just did. These fake tears, these fake situations, and things that never. And look, she's gonna have people that's gonna come and be like, "Oh yes, I experienced this as well," and then they're gonna name a neighborhood, and then they're gonna come up with a fictitious story about some shit that never happened, just so they can join in on the fun of talking about black folks. Because that's the network. That's the nature of that beast. If you think for 1 second that those people aren't here in Alexandria, in Rapides Parish, if you really think that while Reddix was the council person for District 1, that them houses were burning down on their own, whatever. I'm not finna argue with y'all. But like I said, at the end of the day, there's a network. And if you go to that YSKT post, right, you can read it for yourself and see who's in the network. Miss Erica, she did a live earlier today, and I caught it, and she was talking about how come every time we bring up something that's wrong with that can be fixed, we point out something that can be done, that can be fixed. It's always somebody coming in the comment section with an opposing, oh, well, that's not really the problem. The problem is the black folks and this and that. And then they try to do this pseudo-racist thing. It's just ridiculous. It's old now. It's the same playbook y'all been using. We're on top of it. And I'm there to meet you with as much foolishness as you want to be met with. But
I'm gonna stop commenting on the. I'm sorry, I interrupt you.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna stop commenting because there's. I guess because we have witnessed so much of ours and we have been part of so much. It's almost like a trauma reaction to a lot of things that we have witnessed and been part of, and because of that, I get angry. I gotta control my anger better. My emotional intelligence gets shut off. So, because I just think about all the stuff we've been through and how we have had to compromise on a lot of things just so that certain things can be taken care of. Well, we're no longer have to do that. We don't have to do that anymore. And there's a freedom there that we all need to grasp a hold of, because you don't have to be afraid anymore. Say what you mean and mean what you say. These people are allowed to say what they want to us, and we turn around and we be sympathetic toward them. No, that's not how it works. Balance is nobody does this and the other person does that. That doesn't work anymore. They are just as rude and nasty toward us. We need to be just as rude and nasty toward them. Even though they claim two wrongs don't make a right, but that's not the point. The point is you are allowed to say and disrespect me in the way that you want to, but I'm supposed to say, you know what? I'm sorry you feel that way about me. No, because I don't care how you feel about me. Because it doesn't matter anymore.
I'm ready to crash out once we get to that point. Yeah, I'm ready to crash out on your stupid ass.
We can't crash out.
I'm gonna crash out. You playing in my face.
And it's kind of hard, and I know everybody's not built. That's why I said activism, everybody's not built for this type of work. You have to be built for it. And you got to know when what you're doing and your actions are in the way that it's helping other people. I'm sorry. I will always forever help Black folks because that's who I am. I don't know how other people feel. I don't know how other people maneuver in this world. I'm concerned about us and how we're moving, because everybody else don't give a damn about us. And I don't know why we have to keep saying, I think about that Officer Tatum. They do not care. They would jump him. If he was in a place, they would jump him. They will jump him and beat the hell out of him. And you know what? He'll come back on TV and he'll be touting for the white folks. He'll do it. He'll do it because that's where their mind is.
He better not ever backtrack and talk about trying to do something for Black people, because they gonna. But you know what? They did the same thing with Charleston White. Now listen.
Yeah.
This is my general rule. Once you do some foul shit I cut ties. Like, I no longer consume that content. I haven't watched the Charleston White video ever since he said and did what he did to Carmelo and them. I haven't consumed any of that media at all. It's a number of other content creators. I just refuse to consume their media. I refuse to support them.
Yeah.
But about this network that we're talking about, right? So Ms. Deborah Augustine Martin says this is about Nolan Wells. This is simply about how the parents of Nolan Wells are now subpoenaing Meta and TikTok and Snapchat. They're subpoenaing the records for their son's accounts on these social medias, right? But Bart, who's mentioned in the audio, Bart, he's I think Warren or somebody, one of them kids is now suing everybody that has something to say online and whatever, because they're claiming this fake ass victimhood shit. Oh, they're sending me death threats and blah 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 blah. Nobody's sending you death threats. And 9 times out of 10, let me tell you something. Some of this shit is self-inflicted. I told you they lead in suicide. It's not going to be a far reach for them to write themselves a bad note under another account so they can show it off to the world and be like, look, they're threatening me. Look at what they said. They were going to come kill my family. Nobody knows you, bro. But anyway, Miss Deborah says, let's get to the bottom of this so the family can get some closure. They killed that boy, plain and simple. Faye Eubanks says, keep on with your accusations and you can be next on the list that lawyer is suing for lies and defamations. You might want to read about it and save your disgusting opinions. What color is Faye Eubanks? Of course. Of course.
Look, it's a woman.
There's hope.
Of course. Of course. Of course. Of course it's a white woman. Let's go. Look, because I just want y'all to know what these things look like. So whatever comment that David Randall put, he deleted all those comments. The same that we're on the boat with him. Oh yeah, he deleted all those comments. So you can't even. Oh, he said name them. Blah blah blah. Faye Eubanks. So if I'm not mistaken, Nolan's parents lawyered up. Why? This is Faye Eubanks again. I said, why wouldn't they? Their child is dead, and all they know is that his friends keep lying about what happened. Faye Eubanks. And then I love what Miss Dale Holmes Carmouche said. She said the state of Mississippi and the privileged good old boys are covering up the truth about their son Nolan Wells' murder. They are knowingly withholding information, destroying evidence, misleading others, or giving false explanations to avoid blame, embarrassment, and legal consequences. There is certainly a cover-up to protect those responsible. Nolan Wells' parents did the right thing by getting a lawyer. They want answers and transparency about their son's death. With the history of Mississippi, Ben Chester White, Wallace Jackson, Vernon Dahmer, Henry Hezekiah D., and Charles Eddie Moore, James Chaney, Andrew Goodman, Michael Schwimmer, Emmett Till, Medgar Evers. Many killings were never fully investigated, and numerous victims remain unidentified or receive no justice. Let's not have history repeat itself. This isn't the Jim Crow eras in the 1960s. So when we refer to them and they, this people like, cause see, this motherfucker right here is trying to get people to say names, right? They want people to say names so they can incriminate and they can send your information off to the lawyer, right? Because that's what they really want to do. They want to send your information off to the lawyer so you can be sued. Man, this network is so there.
And we see again, that's a woman. That is a woman who's doing that.
Give us some names. So I said, why don't you look into it yourself instead of being lazy and wanting someone else to do the work? This ain't the 1850s. Then she says, I don't have to look it up. You and your friend is the one making the accusations. And I said, and you're the one inquiring about more info. So I guess one of us is asking the other for information that's publicly available. Only one of us is seeking information. That was the end of that conversation. All you got to do is tell these motherfuckers, go find something. You know what I'm saying? Find something safe to do. And then here comes Bill Atkinson, Crump will make money. So I said, not as much money. It won't be more money than the state makes off of unlawful convictions. And then David Bishop said, you against capitalism? Are you a commie? Yeah, they don't like it. Listen, these slurs are meant for us and others. When you call one of these white folks one of them slurs, they lose their shit. So don't call them a commie. But anyway. Yeah. And Officer Tatum will be exposed and all will be right with the world eventually. Just wait. Nolan will get justice. Carmelo will be home by Christmas. And
my theory about this, Tavares, is that I think they're trying to get us in the streets. That's what I think. all of these are led to. They're either ritualistic, all the lynchings that happened this year, and I'll say since 2024 all the way up till now. I believe this is a way they can't get us in the streets, and they want us in the streets. They want us tearing up stuff. So then that gives him the ideal of martial law or something similar to it. Is another act that he can make happen, proclaim, or whatever, to do this. And that's what I just keep going back to, the ideal that they're trying to get black folks, black and brown people in the streets. And like, you know, how we was protesting with Black Lives Matter and all that, they're trying to get us back to that. And it's irritating them because they can't. Because y'all got to remember, a soulless person doesn't care about somebody dying. Let me say that again so y'all understand. Especially a black person or a brown person dying. They don't care. You guys act like these people have feelings. Y'all in a conscience. They
act like they got feelings for you.
Exactly. No, some of them don't even have to, especially if you side with us, they definitely don't care. So when we understand when we get into our brains that there are people out here that has no conscience, like serial killers, and they don't have a soul, killing somebody doesn't bother them. So we can ask and cry and forgive all we want. These people don't care. If we can just, as a collective, understand that these people don't care, I think we can move forward and do what we got to do. Other than that, in the argument back and forth with them, they don't care. Their hatred is so deep for us that they don't care. They're not saying we're sorry that she lost her son. They're trying to incriminate him. Do y'all understand what they're doing? And anybody who takes up for them, they try to incriminate them. So why are we even, it's me too, I'm talking to me, because I'm talking to me too. Why are we even wasting our time talking to them? Why? Because they don't care. They don't care. And lots of them already know the answer. But their anger and their hatred, their blinded hatred for us, it outdoes everything about them. Like that lady today you were talking to, Miss Soldier. All she had to do was gather her dog and get on her yard and get on her lawn and go about her business. He didn't trespass on her lawn. He didn't do anything directly. He didn't hit her. He didn't threaten her. Think about it like that. Think about that. She had to say something to him because they always have to put us in our place. They always have to put us in our place, no matter what we're doing. Even when we're doing the right thing, they always have something to say. This is why I don't have sympathy toward them, because they always have to say something to us when we're minding our own business. It's a mental disorder to me, for them. Nobody's bothering you. The man was probably scared of your doggone dog. And if he was on a sidewalk and not in your driveway, you should have went on about your business. And you worried about what's coming out of his mouth, and you're going to shoot him over his words? Let's make that make sense. And the way that she said it tells you. She'll go to church on Sunday and praise God. But she's standing up there saying she believes in the stand your ground law over words. He didn't threaten to touch her. Or did he? And that's her word against her. That's her word against. We don't know what was said, but that's what she's saying. So you had to bring a story out to prove that we are the problem. So I'm sorry. Now that's where, like I said, my sympathy button gets turned off on a lot of stuff. And that's one of the things I did. Because she even said to you, in other words, Tavar, I believe in the stand your ground. Did he threaten her? Did he put his hands on her? But you're going to shoot him standing on the sidewalk. No. I'm sorry. Make it make sense. And this is what they do to us. And I don't know. And there's a lot of us in it. Look, we have to deal with them because the world is set up where we have to interact with them. But we can limit that. We definitely can put a limitation to it. It's up to us. But until we realize a lot of these people don't have a soul and they don't have a conscience. So it wasn't nothing for her to stand there and say that. And she probably would have shot him too. And you know what? Alexandria police, Woodward, that would be Woodward. You know what would happen? They would take her side and say that he was trying to attack her. And she would probably not spend one day in jail. That's what we're looking at. So, sympathy? No. No. Not me. Sorry. Can't do it. And it ain't necessarily about us hating anybody. Well, I'll say me, because I'm talking about me. It's not about hating them. If I don't have a need to deal with them, I won't deal with them, period. But if that man was minding his business and he felt threatened by that dog, I would have probably cussed him out too. And she would probably be purposely letting that dog stand there. He is scared of people. Then if he's scared of people, then put him up. That don't make no sense. Now, if he was in her yard, he was trespassing, then that's an issue. But if he was on the sidewalk, there wasn't nothing for her to say to him. She couldn't stand that language coming out of his mouth. Wow. Then go in the house. Shut your ears. But people have a right to be on the sidewalk and cuss and holler if they want to, if it's not doing nothing to you. They want to shut us up. They don't want us saying nothing. They want us, we can be seen but not heard. Just like everybody who keep complaining about every time we say something about what's going on in Alexandria. They the main ones got something to say. Because they don't want us saying anything. They don't want their little paradise in their mind to be. Because see, they don't have to deal with us on a daily basis if they don't want to. They live in their little world. And that's why it's so easy not to have feelings toward us. It's easy. And if the feelings that they do have, it's negative. It's hatred. So I don't have sympathy for them. You ask my husband how much sympathy I have for him. I have a neighbor that's racist. And he'll tell you. He look at me like I'm crazy. I don't. At all. Because I know what you did. I know how you treated us. So no, I don't. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. I'm feeling better now.
Thank you for your soapbox. Let's see. There's a couple more. There's another in there. Okay. Yeah, they tried to say that it was AI, but it was absolutely not AI. I'm trying to find one more clip. Let's see. Oh. Okay.
Real
and
quick.
you know I gotta do. Go ahead.
Look, Teresa need to stop. Teresa being bad. Look what she said.
So I don't give a damn about them and some of the other folks neither. He should have put that dog and that gun in her mouth. Damn.
Oh, damn.
Damn.
Wow. That was deep.
That is deep. Let's see. Let me.
Oh my
I got
God.
one more. Hold on.
That was deep.
All right. Oops. Okay. Oh. All right. They got this one. All right. Here we go.
You made a statement about what's crazy. I think what's crazy is when you have the president of the United States acting like Abe Simpson, going and waving his fist at the cloud on social media and putting tariffs on countries like Canada that we have free trade with. Do you support The tariffs in Canada that have raised prices for people?
If we want to talk about his social media presence, it always has been.
Do you support the tariffs?
It's going to be up to voters to decide what they want to do with midterms.
On Canada.
Why does it matter what I support?
Why does it matter?
It's up to voters in the midterms. But I'd say with the AI thing, it really triggers a lot of people, which I think, frankly, he likes to see.
You don't want to.
I think you're right. I think people do like to see that engagement.
But the real question is, again, when prices are up, why is it that this president went and engaged in more tariffs on Canada when we already know that has significant price pressure? Why did he do that, Lydia?
Because it's self-inflicted. Look, voters are going to have to decide if they think
You don't
he's
have an
doing
answer for
enough for
Why would he do
affordability. I'm not here to answer for
the answer
every
is that
single
there is no
policy that
reason.
he
That's what's
implements.
really crazy.
Okay.
I think that's what voters are going to react to.
But in the words of,
As you can see, it doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what he does. It's always going to be people that placate to other people. They're always going to be there to say this is the reason, that's the reason, this is the why. It's never gonna stop, right? Because they're comfortable with the chaos, and
That's why we shouldn't be. That's why I have issues when we start giving them information. Stop giving them information. Let them find out on their own.
Let them find out on their own. But at the end of the day, you have to be reality based, because some of this shit ain't reality based. Some of this stuff is reactionary, and they want a reaction, and they want you to be upset, just like you was just saying. They want you in the streets, they want you protesting, they want you. And when you start looking into the laws, this is unprecedented. There has never been a time period where Black folks are becoming as aware of the laws as is right now. Again, I always share the story about Carmelo and how that made me look into self-defense laws and how they literally violated his right to self-defense. He was supposed to come up there. The white boys were supposed to assault him. They were supposed to snatch his bag. They were supposed to threaten him. They were supposed to punch on him. They were supposed to They were supposed to do all that. They were supposed to be allowed to do so. Just like this lady was supposed to be allowed to talk about pulling a gun on a guy on a sidewalk. They yelled at her dog. Who might, like, why would he yell at a dog that's running away from him? That doesn't make any sense. But if you make up enough shit, if you throw enough, like, look, exactly, the cognitive dissonance of it all. And they believe their own shit. They believe their own shit so much that they know that they're lying to you when they talking to you. They know that they're lying to you when they talking to you. And when you call them on it, they get upset as if you like, how dare you challenge the truth? What truth? What did you say that was true? Where was the truth? You didn't say anything true. But they get upset like you did. Moral of the story is, y'all, stop letting people play in y'all face. Y'all know good and damn well y'all are smarter than that. Y'all know good and damn well that y'all are more aware than that. You know good and damn well that you are you're not mentally challenged enough to need an overseer, or you're not destitute enough to not be able to partake in the law. You're not. We sat here and read some renters' rights stuff. So when I'm able to do part 2, we're gonna go into the landlord-tenant laws of Louisiana, because I feel like that's something that, and it's a lot of it. It's a lot to it. And so we're gonna go through and we're gonna break that down. I'm gonna try to feed that into AI and see if I can summarize it, because that's a lot. She left right when I said it too. Anyway, you got any closing remarks? We got to read the list. Read the list.
I'm sorry. Okay. So thank you, Shamir. Thank you, Mr. Nat Turner. Wait a minute, Tavares. We didn't go through the comments. Hold up. I think Miss Lily came in. Saturday, I saw one Black boy about 10 years old with all white children in Sam's. I would not let my child. Oh, wow, Miss Velma. I'm with you 100%. I am so with you. She said, Saturday I saw one black boy about 10 years old with all black children in Sam's. I would not let my child go with these ones. You right, sweetie. I sure wouldn't either. Nope. Get back over here. You ain't going nowhere. Nat said, it's scary these days. Wow. She said, I know they see and hear what is going on, but they still think it will not happen to their child. That's right. You're right. They do. They do. You're right about that. That makes me sick. Please don't cut no slack with them and nobody else. Don't cross me, please. This dog on Miss Tarlington, she's way off. She off the chain. You got white folks using him. Tatum said he don't like black people. I know, I saw that. I don't give a damn about them. And some of them, okay, yeah, you read that already. Exactly. What did she say? She said they need to get out of them damn white Sambo pockets, damn cowards.
They can't. They're stuck in them. They don't. They hold on. Wait, hold on. I got it. Hold on. I got one more clip for y'all. I knew I was gonna find it, and it just so happened. Yeah, that's all I had to do this whole time. Damn. All right. This is y'all. This is Miss Tarleton. This is your boy.
Is that black on black crime?
You on the front.
Is that black on black crime?
You's a bitch. I told you. Everybody on your live stream know you's a bitch. And when I see you, I'm whooping your ass. Everybody got it on live stream.
I like it.
You want to be hood, nigga? You want to be hood? You on the phone talking shit to me, and you call me and saying you apologize? Yeah, nigga.
I never apologize.
You apologize?
I never
You didn't
apologize.
apologize. My wife listened to you, nigga.
I never apologized. What I said
cool,
was,
what I said
was,
bitch, nigga.
that's what I said.
Let's wrap this up. All right, I appreciate everybody. I appreciate it.
Is that black on black crime?
Now, that's your boy Brandon Tatum, right? That's how he talks to black people. That's how he talks to black people.
Wow, he got some anger problems there. He sound like one of them.
Just imagine he was a cop.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. He's not anymore. I
can't make this shit up. I can't make this shit up.
Is that black on black crime?
You's a bitch. I told you. Everybody on your live stream know you's a bitch. And when I see you, I'm whooping your ass. Everybody got it on live stream.
I like it.
You want to be hood, nigga? You want to be hood?
Yeah.
You on the phone talking shit to me, and you call me and saying you apologize? Yeah.
You know what's really sad is you got Hotep. Now the Hotep people are supposed to be like some of the peace, brother, peace. You know what I'm saying? He used to be a football player.
Yep.
Yeah, all these brothers that used to be peace, you know, these Hotep dudes, they're not really about like you know what I'm saying? Some of them gangster thugged out, but they're not really on that, right? For them to be laughing at you while you trying to be hard and tough and shit, nah.
White man knows he can't trust you. If your own people can't trust you, the white man knows he can't trust you. So your job is a temporary job. We see you, nigga. We see you.
You talk about listen.
I'm trying to figure out what the hell is wrong with looking at yourself as black first before you anything else.
Okay, there are ills that happen in this country, and black people took the brunt of a lot of it. We weren't the only ones, but we took the brunt of a lot of it. This country has not always been great to black people. I acknowledge that. Can we understand that? But to act as if we're still living in this perpetual state of racism that has something to do with your everyday life, that we ain't never gonna be able to come together if you believe that, man. If you say you black first, that's crazy. That's like a white man saying I'm white first.
They are.
But they do
they wrong then. They wrong then.
America is white first, man.
No, America is not white first.
America considered you property. You were
that's a long time ago, bro.
Sir, let me ask you something. This is where the disconnect comes from for us. When you say they traded black people, if you were traded would you consider that you were stolen or traded? If it was you, if somebody took you right now and against your will and took you to another country, would you consider that you were traded or would you consider that you were stolen?
If somebody enslaved me
Yes.
and sold me to these white people,
Yes.
I would consider that I was traded by my own people.
Okay. So where you and I differ is a fundamental
history.
understanding that
There's no fundamental. This is historical fact. We were enslaved in Africa and sold through slave trade around the world. Majority of us went to South America.
We did.
United States of America that we know today.
If you would not consider yourself stolen, that's something wrong with your internal compass.
Stolen by who?
Whoever stole you. Whoever stole
by
you
black
to another
and
country.
white people. By black and white people, I was stolen.
But I'm trying to figure out.
And the thing is that I'm trying to point to is because at the end of the day, you got people that are black law enforcement that will act just like this guy. And if you can see his name up there, you can see it. He will come to their rescue. He will echo their bullshit talking points. He will say the things about black folks that they say about black folks. But Jock Roy will put him at the front and on the podium so he can say it for him. That's what Van Dyke does. You can get mad. I don't give a damn. It's the truth. There's video evidence of what I'm saying. Patrick Van Dyke got up there and said all of the disparaging shit about black folks in Alexandria that Jock always wanted to say. And here he is, again, this network that we're talking about. Complainers will complain regardless. I can stand in a parking lot and pass out $100 bills to each person all day. Someone will complain about me not passing out two $100 bills. Just sad. That's a black man. While we're discussing things in the black community. That's why I say it's a difference. Hold on. Let me run that back one more time.
White man knows he can't trust you. If your own people can't trust you, the white man knows he can't trust you. So your job is a temporary job. We see you, nigga. We see you.
Point blank, full stop, all together, end of story. That on that note, yeah, now we can get back to the closing. We got Miss Tarleton, we got Brother Nat, we got Miss Velma was here. We got, who else was here? Brother Brown was here. Kevin was here. Our resident fact checker.
Mr. Scott was here.
Mr. I saw Greg up earlier. Miss Brother Scott. Miss Kathy Powell came through. Let's see who else.
Miss Jackson came through.
Miss Jackson came through. Miss welcome to the panel, or welcome to the show, Miss Net Jenkins Bruce Hart. Appreciate you stopping through.
Miss Thomas, Miss Linda.
Miss Linda was here.
Miss Bell. Hey
Bell.
there, you guys. Miss Colson was there. Oh, okay.
Oh, we got Brother Greg McGinnis was here.
Miss
Katina was here. Mag was here. What's up, Maggie? Yeah, we had a nice little packed show tonight. A little tightly packed show. All right, folks.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys always, as always. We appreciate you guys.
And again, let me say something. I want to congratulate our class, the Legacy Liftoff class. We just, and I know you're like, wow, she already talking about, because that's my class. I love my kids, they're grown women. I love my ladies. We just completed another ebook course, and we're on our last one for the year. And I am so happy with the young women who have stuck in there and actually gone through the whole course. You guys don't know. Y'all been missing a treat. You don't pay for the books. All you do is have to show up for class. That's all. But this is probably going to be this is probably going to be the last time I do it for free. I ain't doing it for free no more. Only these people Only these people get it.
I don't know what you mean by these people.
And you, Tavares, yeah, men are not welcomed in our class.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
At all. I apologize for the bad words. The Negro made me mad. No, you ain't, honey. You don't have to apologize. You're a grown woman. You are a grown woman. You do not have to apologize for using language on this show. I promise you. I'm not.
Who is man? We encourage bad language on this show.
Tavares potty mouth.
I encourage the bad language. You know why? Because when you run out of the nice words to say, you actually say something real. When you run out of all the nice words to say, you actually say something real.
But the thing is, they say people who curse are highly intelligent people.
Of course we are.
That's what they say.
Now, I will say this. On this YSKT post, while we were talking about people covering for people.
And see, you know what? That's why I can't be over there. Where's Shamir? She gone? That's why I got to stay off that post. I can't go over there. I'm going to stay off of that post.
Yeah, Walter Fowler, a white guy, is telling the black girl, the black lady, that you want to bet that he's not the problem because she's coming to the defense of Philip Terrell. Now, when white people tell you about other white people, the last thing you need to do is not believe them. You better believe them. When white people have a problem with other white people, whatever they say, you might want to believe. Because I'm sure they know way farther more than, he's a part of the problem. You embezzle money from a town or a sheriff department, and because who you don't get charged by the DA ain't right. And yes, that has happened. She says, I don't know anything about these allegations and none of them have been proven. Wait a minute. If you don't know anything about the allegations, then you wouldn't know if they were proven or not. They could have been allegations that you didn't even know about that have proof. But the fact that you came in and said it the way you said it just lets me know. It just lets me know. Right, so I'm not gonna harp on that too much, but if y'all want to get in on that action, it's over there on YSKT. I'm over there. I'm not mincing words, and I do have receipts, so stop playing. Make sure you get the book Black as Fuck History, the Unwhitewashed Story of America. Right, if you got the ebook, I can send you a link where you can get unlimited books, audio. I would advise you to pay for it. I would recommend you pay for it. But if you just want to preview the book,
I have it.
Yeah, on audio.
Yeah, I have it on audio. I sure do.
Well, we might need to put that as a segment. Put a chapter in as a segment.
Okay, we could do that. We definitely could do that.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Okay. All right. Well, folks, that puts a feather in our cap. We did 3 hours this night. Good job, bro. Yeah. Good job, everyone. Yeah, there you go. All right. Ms. Linda Bell says she got the book. That's a good book to have. Yeah, free Carmelo, justice for Nolan. And I will see you guys. Wait a minute. Don't forget, I think it's coming by. Listen, for you guys that are TikTokers, right? I'm not going to say follow Mama because I don't know if Mama wanted to be followed. But I'm on the verge of going viral on mine. I'm getting the views. I got a nice little TikTok account that you guys. So it's free Mellow _ till it's backwards. Free Mellow _ I think it's scrolling at the bottom of the screen. There it goes. TikTok free Mellow _ till it's backwards. Follow that account on TikTok. Get in touch with me if you can't. Or whatever, and I'm getting, it's just a constant stream of messages and alerts and stuff because I got a video that's doing pretty good right now. So it's a lot going on. But make sure you follow me on TikTok because that's where it's at. That's where you get to see the rest of what I got going on. And I try to bring some of that over here and bring some of that over there, but I'm trying to blend them together right now. But we're working on it. So until next time, folks, till what, Tuesday? Yeah, till Tuesday. No, wait. Next week is going to go a little different. because next week is qualifications. So next week we'll go back to the Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, because Friday is the last day of qualifications, and we do have a wrap-up show about the qualifications, who's going to qualify, et cetera, et cetera. All right. So next week, guys, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and it's only because it's only temporary. It's only for next week, and that's only for qualifications. Then the week after that, we'll go back to Tuesdays and Thursdays. All right, guys. So on that note, thank you guys for joining us on another fun adventure across the internet and the interwebs of information. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, is that good? Everybody good? We're all good? All right.